You always go to your tried and true veteran, and Charlie Joyner certainly has caught an awful lot of passes. And there's the defensive lineup for the Colts. You see the rookie there in white, Blaze Winter, and they are going to run at him today and test out his strength.
Yeah, there's no question about that. There you look at the linebacking core. Johnny Cooks, Cliff Odom, Barry Krause, and Vernon Maxwell, the designated pass rusher for Indianapolis. That is Chandler in motion, and Fouts wants to look at Joyner again, and he's going to Charlie. He has got a first down at the 40-yard line. Tate Randall, third year out of Texas Tech, on the tackle. Randall, former Houston Oiler.
What respect I have for Charlie Joyner is unbelievable. You can see Fouts has no pressure. This is what the Colts have got to do today. They've got to get pressure. There's Joyner wide open in a little turnaround seam, and it's the intermediate passes that they've already established. They've twice gone to the 8, 10, 12-yard passes. They're not trying to burn them deep.
Joyner in his 16th year out of Grambling. Take a look at that. He now needs just 4 catches to move into the number 3 spot. There is Ernest Jackson, and he has bounced out of bounds at the 47-yard line. Preston Davis, the rookie out of Baylor, takes Jackson out.
Bill, we mentioned in the early part of this program that the Chargers that were known or were thought to have quit. They're not quitting today. You can see they're coming out. They're trying to establish as we look at the Colts defensive lineup, but they have come out to play today.
Well, you look at that defensive secondary for Indianapolis, Dave, and I'll tell you, that is a foursome that is going to be tested like they have not been tested in 1984.
Absolutely.
3 wide receivers for San Diego on second down, less than 1. Fouts 3-yard drop. There. It is Jesse Vendras, the rookie out of Bama. He is hit instantly by Preston Davis, but Vendras has the first down. Now there's a man that Don Coryell feels can be a superstar for this ball club.
Well, if you want to be a superstar wide receiver in the NFL, you sure want to be on the San Diego Chargers. They throw the ball so many times. They've got such an accurate passer in Dan Fouts, and we talked about it. If he has the time, he can absolutely destroy a defensive team.
Fouts 3 for 3 here on the opening drive. That is Wayne Morris in motion. Fouts looks left, looks right, now goes left. The ball is tipped and falls incomplete. The pass tipped by Vernon Maxwell, intended for Wes Chandler.
Well, this is the first time that the Colts have put any semblance of pressure on Fouts. He stood back there and completed, as you said, 3 out of 3. We can see the pressure. You'll see the pocket kind of collapse around him. See all the people getting around Fouts as we watch 98 there. That's a little extracurricular act. Oh, well, he was just kind of kicking some dirt off his shoe.
I'll tell you, Ernest Jackson had his hands full with Johnny Cooks. Well, you look at Blaze Winter, the rookie, the right defensive end. He is a very emotional player up on that defensive line, clapping his hands, waving his fist. 2nd and 10, San Diego at the 45. The give, that is Wayne Morris. And he was slammed to the turf by Donnell Thompson.
Oh, boy, was he hit. Donnell Thompson had a slant defense on that time, and the play ran right smack into him, and he just caved in Ed White. You'll see to the left of your screen, just as Fouts hands the ball off there, there's 99 on a slant. He almost got the handoff. Ouch.
It is now 3rd down and 11. And this is Charlie Joyner country. Listen to this crowd. Intercepted.
Well, 63,000 people just raised their feet and cheering. They were going to go to Joyner, but Fouts was under tremendous pressure. And you can see 55 is down on the ground there. That's Barry Krause, who had the interception, but he's up, and listen to this fan react. His 2nd interception. Watch the pressure from the left part of your screen. There, Fouts has to throw the ball. Fouts is in, Krause in position, and we got a different ball game. They're going the other way. Played at Alabama, and boy, can he hit.
Now he took a shot there in the kidneys. It is first down, Indianapolis. Chargers showing blitz, and here they come. The give right up the gut. It is Randy McMillan. He moves the ball to the San Diego 45 before Billy Ray Smith and Mike Green end it.
Well, in order to shut down this Colt team, as we look at the offensive backfield and receivers, you can see it's a pretty good one there with the running back, Mark Herman. Of course, this is only his 2nd or 3rd start. Curtis Dickery, world class. If he's well, he can get outside and run with anybody.
Somewhat of a suspect receiving corps. Butler,
Yes.
Porter, and Dave Young. There's a look at the offensive line. The only rookie starting, Ron Solt. Second down and 6. The ball at the Chargers' 44-yard line. Mark Herman, the quarterback. In motion, the tight end, Young. Play action. Misdirection. That is Young. And he is nailed. Billy Ray Smith, who came on and played a whale of a game Monday night against Seattle, penetrates well and knocks the tight end off his feet.
Well, they really didn't have enough time to really develop that pass. Herman was under immediate pressure, and it was immediate pressure by that defensive line.
Now the line that has not played well for San Diego, Ian Elko, Keith Ferguson. They have not put pressure on opposing quarterbacks. The linebacking core, a group learning to play together. King, Mike Green, Billy Ray, and Woodrow Lowe. And the defensive secondary, oh, you talk about a Band-Aid secondary. Today it is Gil Byrd, John Turner, Andre Young, and Tim Fox. San Diego has had 6 different defensive secondary alignments in 9 games. Herman with time, throws, it is caught. Oh, what a catch by Bouza.
Well, Phil, you said what a catch. It was what a throw, too. He was covered very well coming off the line. I was really surprised that Herman laid that ball out the way he did. He made a one-hand catch on it. 17-yard gain. That puts the old Colts in a little bit better position here early.
Absolutely. At the San Diego 34-yard line, a first down for the Colts following the interception by Barry Krause. Tracy Porter goes to the top of your screen. It is Ray Butler wide left. Dickey running in behind Solt and Jim Mills, and he is knocked to the AstroTurf by Woodrow Lowe and Lyndon King. Chargers like to pinch their outside linebackers, Dave.
Absolutely. They like to bring someone from the outside to force that running play quickly, to get that running play to commit to either inside or outside. But that fellow right there, Curtis Dickey, with his speed, if he gets to the outside, he is gone. There's no one in this game that's going to run him down.
As I said at the outset of our telecast, the Colts simply do not put the ball up with any success at all, but against a San Diego defense that, as I said, has just been decimated by injuries, you have to wonder if Cush's game plan might include the forward pass. Look at that. There is Dickey. And I'll tell you one thing, Mike Green got to the football just about the same time Dickey did.
I wondered who was getting the handoff on that one. He was through there so quick. I just don't think Dickey even had a chance to even turn around and look at the quarterback. He just about got the handoff.
Well, the Chargers know the Colts are going to run, and because of that, you have to feel as if Mark Herman will see a lot of Mike Green and Billy Ray Smith all day long.
Well, the one thing you want to do on a running team is you want to disrupt the rhythm of the run. In other words, you shoot that linebacker through and break up the blocking scheme. The teams that run really well, they run with that consistent flow, that consistent rhythm. And that's what the Chargers are going to try to do, break up that rhythm.
Third down and 11. Herman, quick release. It is caught. Bouza. A flag is down. 2 flags down in the Indianapolis backfield. It is a first down at the San Diego 21, but I believe the play will be nullified holding against the Colts.
Well, I saw 4 Chargers that time point at Jim Mills, number 76, and I think he had a good bear hold on the player.
Offensive holding, number 66.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, Ben. I didn't mean that.
Well, it is called against that man, the rookie out of Maryland, Ron Solt.
When I said Ben, I was referring to Ben Dreith, who was, of course, one of the great referees that's been in this game for years and years.
You don't suppose Solt ever held when he was protecting Boomer Esiason, do you, at Maryland? Well, I suppose he learned that just since he's been a pro.
Well, it's hard to keep those hands in there. See, I'm a defensive lineman, and I know they hold. I played against. Yes, they do. They hold out there.
Third down and 21. Herman. Right over the middle. Oh, what a pop Bernard Henry took. Almost had a second chance, but Andre Young finished him off at the 40-yard line. So it is fourth down, a punting situation for Indianapolis.
The only thing bad they say about Bernard Henry is that he doesn't run disciplined routes. He was their leading pass catcher last year, and this year he's only got 3 or 4 catches. You can see the hit there. He did not have control of the ball. That's why it's not a fumble. But the Chargers have come out and played very, very strong defense early. It's fourth down. It's 20 yards to go, and they came out and held when they threw that interception. That gives them a big boost when they come back on offense.
Ron Stark is on to kick it away. He leads the National Football League in punting, better than 46 yards of punt.
Boy, and here come the Chargers. They're coming after him.
Well, there's 10 men on the line. Watch the extreme left. Now they back a man off. Stark angling for the sideline, and I don't think he's going to get it. Steve Bird will let it drop. Oh, it takes an Indianapolis bounce. A 38-yard punt for that man. It pins the Chargers deep in their own end. By San Diego earlier in 1984, waved and picked up again when Severs, Callahan, and Winslow went down.
What a quick release by Fouts. That's why he doesn't get trapped back there very often. Just very, very quick. You can see Ed White there, 67, who's playing out of position, has a good block on Donnell Thompson. But Fouts gets rid of that ball so quickly. 5-step drop, drops back 5 steps, and boom, it's on its way.
Now, you talked about Ed White playing out of position for 15 years. He made a living in this league as an offensive guard. Here in 84, he has switched to tackle. That's Jackson. Tries to sweep left, turns it inside, moves the ball to the 15-yard line. Blaze Winter hit him first. Cliff Odom finished him off.
Well, the one thing you can't do against the Colts is to cut back. They've got such great pursuit. And you spoke about that in the early part of the game. It's an indication of what their coach is. They play all out all the time. You can see as he cuts back there, look at the people coming into your picture. They are really going to pursue the well against the ball. The only thing that really hurts the Colts is anything that cuts back like a reverse or something like that. Something that fools them. The old screen pass where you run to one side and throw back. Those are the types of things that fool the Colts because they're so aggressive.
3rd down and 3 from the 15, and the crowd comes to life. This will go against San Diego, I believe. That is Chandler. He has the first down at the 20-yard line. Johnny Cook stops him. But I think Mr. White stood up a split second too soon.
Well, I saw somebody from the Colts jump off sides, too. Now we just got to wait and see who they're going to talk to. Fouts is down there saying, talk to me. And Leo Wisniewski, number 69, saying, well, talk to me, Ben. And what we want to do is have you talk to us,
Defense was offside. Decline the penalty as a first down.
All right. Against Indianapolis. So a first down. The play will stand just across the 21-yard line.
There's the man that jumps offside. Vernon Maxwell, 56, gets an early jump. You can see that San Diego did not move.
Well, at least Joyner didn't move. First down at the 21-yard line. Fouts, quick drop. Now he's got time. Dumps it right over the top to Ernest Jackson. And Jackson cannot hold on. Well, if you're going to play long for Don Coryell, I don't care if you're a running back, a tight end, a wide receiver, you got to learn to hold on to balls like that.
Same thing with the tackles and the guards. You got to learn to catch the ball.
That's right.
Eric Coryell and company.
Now Don's mark as a head football coach in the league, just over 60%. Well, he had it all going in San Diego until the year 1983. Dan Fouts went out, missed 6 games. The Chargers lost 5 of those 6. Fouts well protected here. The pass is to Egloff. He has it at the 26-yard line, and Cliff Odom jumps on his back.
It's interesting already that San Diego has decided to pass the intermediate passes. They're not going for the bombs. And you can see that the Colts are rushing 3 men. They're getting absolutely no pressure. Wisniewski there's got 2 people on him. Donnell Thompson's got 2 people on him, number 99, and he's got all the time. And he looks very, very sharp today.
6 minutes and 38 seconds to play in the first quarter. Phil Stone along with Dave Rowe. No score here at the Hoosier Dome. 3rd down and 4. Fouts. Here come the Colts. Dan unloads. That is Joyner, and he cannot hold on. Barry Krause. Superb defense.
He hurt his back earlier. It's well now. He played that pass as well as you can play. You'll see to the right of your screen, 55 will come into the right of your screen as the pass comes. It's a pass to Joyner, a simple curl pattern, and Barry Krause is right there to knock the ball down. 55. He just has played outstanding football for this Colt defense.
Maury Buford will punt it away on 4th down and 4 from the 27-yard line. That is Nesby Glasgow back at his own 28-yard line. Glasgow with 5 returns, averaging 12 yards a return. Buford, oh, does he let the air out here. At the 17, here comes Glasgow. And he won't come very far. Lucius Smith on the stop. So the clock stops with 6 minutes and 10 seconds to play. Indianapolis will have the ball at their own 27-yard line. No score in the ball game. Welcome back to the Hoosier Dome here in Indianapolis. Colts have had one look at the football, Dave. They were unable to move the ball on the ground. They're going to have to put it in the air to move it against San Diego.
They have to put the ball in the air. They have to mix up their plays. They have to run and they have to pass. And if they don't pass well and rely on the run, they're not going to win. They have got to pass the football and pass it well.
Here comes Indianapolis. Mark Herman at quarterback. That was a 57-yard punt for Maury Buford, a 10-yard return for Glasgow. From the 27-yard line, here come the Colts. That is Curtis Dickey, and he's across the 31-yard line out near the 32. Last Monday night, San Diego knocked off by Seattle, but the one thing the Chargers did is they effectively stopped the Seahawk running attack.
Absolutely, and they're stopping the Colts right now. Curtis Dickey, you know, it's unbelievable his speed. They say he runs the 40-yard dash in 4.2, and I doubt I can fall that fast.
This is Mark Herman, only the third game this year he has seen action. He came on in the third quarter last week down in Irving against the Dallas Cowboys. Chargers showing blitz. There's the quick out. Tracy Porter has it, and encouraging him to hit to the sideline is John Turner, and now they're saying Porter bobbled the ball going out. No catch.
Well, he absolutely didn't have his feet in bounds either. When he came down, the old tried true veteran will exercise all the effort in the world to get those feet down in bounds, and he did not that time. He just came down just kind of casually. You'll see it on the left of your screen. He just doesn't come down with his feet in bounds. He's not. You'll watch his feet here. You'll see. Now, he has plenty of room to come down. There's one. Now, see how far back his right foot goes? It's too far back. He should stress that. He knows he's on the sideline.
Yeah, that was an excellent call by Bill Reynolds, the line judge. Third down and 6 from the 31. Herman wants to put it up. Pocket collapsing. Now he's going deep, looking for Butler. And running step for step was Lucius Smith. Like a basketball screen.
That's what it was. He didn't really defend him. He just defended him from getting to the ball. Probably the biggest criticism that the Colts have this year is that they get jammed on the line. They just don't get downfield. Even though this ball is thrown 30 or 40 yards, he's still not downfield. He doesn't have that speed to break away from the defensive cornerback.
Butler, there you see his numbers in 1984. Ron Stark is on. It is 4th down and 6, his second punt of the day. His first one sailed 38 yards to the San Diego 8-yard line.
Now you watch how high and how far this ball can go. I have seen him kick the ball consistently 50 yards. He is probably going to be Indianapolis's first all-pro punter.
That's Steve Bird at the 29. Here he comes. He won't come very far. Timmy Sherwood back up tight end. What a stop. Bird goes down. 5:16 to play first period. Next Saturday is Thoroughbreds Racing's $10 million day. The Breeders' Cup, a day to remember on NBC. Well, John Henry's physical problems are being examined now. A decision on whether he'll run in the Breeders' Cup will come sometime this week. There you see Frank Cush, who has built a team here in Indianapolis, certainly in his image. On the right, Don Coryell, who lives and dies via the pass. Barry Krause still having that lower back massage. Dan Fouts and company. A pass to Egloff, his third catch of the day, and he dives across the 40-yard line. Cliff Odom and Mark Kafensis knock him down.
He may be new out there, but he certainly knows how to catch the ball, and Fouts is throwing it right in the old breadbasket, right in the belly button.
4 minutes and 54 seconds to play in the first period. 2nd down and 2 at the 41-yard line. The Chargers nothing, Indianapolis nothing. In motion, Wayne Morris. The give, that is Jackson. He finds a hole, slashes to the 45, and he is hammered. Kafensis is there, as is Cliff Odom.
Well, you always tell very quickly in the NFL how good your safeties are by how they come up. Watch Kafensis come into your screen here and make this tackle. You'll see him right there coming in. Wouch. He stumped him. Ouch. Glad I wasn't running that ball.
Ernest Jackson, give him all the credit in the world. San Diego running back. He really didn't stand much of a chance to make this team back in August. You had Munson, you had Pete Johnson. Both are now gone. Fouts to to the 13-yard line. Nesby Glasgow saves the touchdown.
Just an absolutely beautifully thrown ball. If you want to watch what a wide receiver and a quarterback can do together, this is the type of pass play. That man 16 years in the NFL and still runs just like a deer. Now watch this pass. It's a perfect spiral, no pressure. Fouts lays it out there. It's just right in stride. Joyner doesn't have to even break stride, catches it. He doesn't run like he's been playing 16 years, does he?
Dave Joyner in the first 12 minutes has got 3 passes for 55 yards. Now from the Indianapolis 14. There's the misdirection. Jackson sweeping to left side, and Glasgow again takes him out. Get the feeling the Chargers are going to see an awful lot of Nesby today.
Oh, yes. Nesby Glasgow will really react to the ball quickly. But the thing that made that play run so well is they cut down the opposition. You'll see number 35 come into your picture, and he's knocked down by the wide receiver, and Jackson is able to turn the corner. You can see him going down there. There's 3 cut blocks. He's able to turn that corner. You have got to string that ball out. You've got to have that cornerback come up and force that ball to be run towards the sideline. If he turns the corner, he turns it up and gobbles up big yardage.
What a block Doug Wilkerson put on the rookie Blaze Winter. There's Chandler in motion. Fouts starts left, misdirection right, Wes Chandler. And again it is Glasgow to the 4-yard line. Glasgow's going to earn a paycheck today.
He certainly is. Nesby's in on a bunch of them, number 25. But the thing that made that play interesting is that just exactly what you said, misdirection. They know that the Colts react so well to the ball. You'll see all the action looks like it's going to the top of your screen. Away. There's the roll by Fouts. Turn back quickly. There's the dump to Chandler. And you can see how all the action looked as if it was going away from the play, and all of a sudden Chandler just sneaks out and they're down on the 3-yard line. There's another angle of it.
First down and goal at the 3. There's Jackson. He bangs his way down near the 2. Winner, Barry Krause, and Vernon Maxwell with help from Johnny Cooks.
Now this is where the defensive and offensive linemen really earn their salaries. You watch the penetration by the defense. You're just giving everything you have to penetrate. And I'll tell you, that is a tough yard he just ran. But that's what you want to do down there. You're just down there. You've got 280 pounds on your fingertips. You got about 5 pounds on each foot. And when that ball is snapped, you're just giving everything you have in one explosive effort to try to get penetration.
Second down and goal from the 2. The Indianapolis crowd roaring. Jackson. Touchdown, San Diego. The sweep right behind Ed White and Dennis McKnight, and they ran right at Donnell Thompson.
Jackson with the 2-yard.
Mike Humiston slow getting up for the Colts. He's now up and coming off.
He certainly was slow. You can see the contact here on the line. Great effort there to get in the end zone. Jackson really ran hard to get inside that end zone. Watch here again. You'll see this is nothing fancy. This is just power football. Blow him off the line. A good cut by Jackson. You can see 92 there. Humiston takes that shot in the neck area, and that's what really stung him. But look at the size of it. Look at the thickness of his body as he walks off. That's not all shoulder pads.
Rolf Benerschke is on. The point after is complete. Clock stops with 1 minute and 43 seconds left in the opening period. And San Diego has struck first. 7-0 Chargers. Golf's greatest foursome gathers on Thanksgiving weekend. You saw it a year ago. You'll see it again. Here's a preview. Rolf Benerschke is on for San Diego to boot it away, and Mr. Benerschke can thank the man to my right for his career in San Diego.
Yes, I got him the chance to get there when he was with the Raiders. They cut him, and one of the coaches from the Chargers called me, and I said, hey, look, the kid's got a great leg. Give him a chance.
Taken at the 9-yard line. Across the 24, Kofensis drops the ball, and Indianapolis has recovered, I believe. At the 24-yard line, the Colts will give it a go. Scott Byers on the tackle. And here comes the San Diego defensive unit. Indianapolis down 7-0. Dave, San Diego's defense for the last 3 years has been a very poor defense. The secondary has been porous. But you have to wonder, are they really at fault play in and play out? It seems to me it all starts up front.
Bill, everything starts up front. If you don't get pressure on that quarterback, you are not going to play good pass defense. And since they got rid of Louis Kelcher and, of course, Gary Johnson and Fred Dean and those players, they have not gotten the pressure. But this is a young defensive line, and they're going to get a lot better.
Intercepted. Timmy Fox. Fox to the 1-yard line and down.
Look at him. He doesn't want to even get up. Get up so we can slap you on the back.
Steve Wright saved the touchdown, but you have to wonder how long did he save it.
Well, one problem that Mark Herman seems to have is he has a very slow and deliberate delivery. In other words, the defensive backs, as they're dropping back, they can read when he's going to throw and who he's going to go to. And that time, Tim Fox was just playing like a center fielder. He was just dropping back off the ball. You can see him in the upper part of your screen, number 48. He sees Herman look in that direction. There's the pass, and you can see he reacted well ahead of the time. A 42-yard interception. We're down on the 1-yard line, and San Diego is definitely threatening to put this game in the icebox, but not already.
Jackson bangs his way, and he is short of the goal stripe. Barry Krause on the tackle.
Bill, I said it in the earlier part of the game, but this Colt team does not know how to quit. They exemplify their coach, Frank Kush, and he will not allow them to quit. I was here 2 weeks ago when everybody would have said there was a ball game they couldn't win, and they came back with 25 seconds with a 54-yard pass to win that game. And I think everybody in Indianapolis here learned that these Colts don't quit.
Can't be happier for Timmy Fox. There's Jackson again, bangs his way, and again the Colts shut him short. They shut Jackson down inside the 1.
Davis and Randall made the stop.
Tate Randall and Cliff Odom on the tackle.
Well, there were several of them come up in this picture. You'll see 27. You'll see Randall 35. But watch 27. 55. There's Krause. What a hit by Krause. There's what's his name? 27. What's his name? I'm all right. But they're coming down here. Listen to this crowd react.
Blaze Winter is turning around, inciting the crowd. 3rd down and goal. Jackson.
Well, there you have it again. Another stop by the Colts. Watch 35 come into your picture. Randall gets good penetration coming up, and here comes Barry Krause, number 55, back into your picture again. 4th down. They forced him into a field goal.
Now the question you have to ask is that particular play in that situation. Clock stops. We have ended the first quarter. We'll be back.
Well, the question is, why do you go wide in a situation like this? You know that you only need a foot for the goal. You can see he goes wide, loses 4 or 5 yards. That's Tate Randall, 35. Here comes Barry Krause, 55. You've got 2 more players. I would question that decision to run. Of course, I'm not a coach for San Diego, but you've got to go up the middle. You've got to have confidence. That's why you've got these 16-year veterans out here.
Tate Randall being worked on a left ankle. He will return. Banershka is on to try and make this a 10-0 ball game. Luther sets it down. Banershka sends it through the uprights. And on the first play of the second period, the Chargers strike once more. Clock stops. San Diego on a first quarter touchdown and a second period field goal from Banershka. Right ahead of Philly.
Let's just take him right from there.
Today's game is brought to you by Ram Tough Trucks and revolutionary new cars. Dodge, an American revolution. By AT&T. The more you hear, the better we sound. And by Federal Express. Why fool around with anyone else?
Welcome back to the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis. Phil Stone and Dave Rowe. And right there is Rolf Banershka, who has just staked San Diego to a 10-0 lead. And he will kick it away. Phil Smith at the 8-yard line. Oh, it is hammered. Wow. Buford McGee knocks Phil Smith into Lafayette, Indiana.
I think Phil Smith decided that he was going to change direction just as Buford McGee got there. Boy, oh boy, if you want to make some money in the NFL, you want to earn it, you want to run back a kick like that. He just got stuck.
Now, folks around San Diego will remember the name Phil Smith. State University. He brings the ball out to the 15-yard line, where Indianapolis will put it in play. 14:49 left in the first half. 10-0 San Diego. That is Randy McMillan, and the Chargers stack him up. Woody Lowe leading the charge.
Well, they're not going to make it on 1-yard plunges. They have got to open up their offense. They have got to get it in the air, and they've got to get downfield. I just heard an interesting comment or saw a score, and some of the people in San Diego, I know how much they like the Raiders, but they'll be surprised to know that Walter Payton just ran an 18-yard run in for a touchdown. Chicago leads the Raiders 7-0.
That's Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen. I'll tell you, they're going to see a good one all day long at Soldier Field. That is going to be a war before the sun sets in the Windy City. We've got a good one here in Indianapolis. 14:09 to play, first half. The Colts trying to move the ball. Herman will put it up. He was intercepted the last time. Lets it fly. It is almost intercepted again. Intended for Dickey coming out of the backfield. Lyndon King almost pulled it in, and we've got holding against Indianapolis.
Well, it's holding because it's too much time. Herman never picked up his wide receiver. Watch. Now there's McMillan coming, Curtis Dickey coming through. He doesn't block anybody. He's just trying to get through. The pass is a late pass to him. But the thing that caused that interception, or that holding call, is that Herman just took too much time. There's a big criticism on Mark Herman.
Holding number 64, decline of penalty. It's third down.
The only criticism that really is about Mark Herman, he had a phenomenal career, not 45, 50 miles from here at Purdue, but the thing is that he cannot get out when he gets pressure. He has got to be able to scramble, move around in that pocket. The things that the great quarterbacks do when they're under pressure is they move around. They get away from that pressure, and he has not done it.
Al Herman had a pretty fire career right here in Indianapolis as a high schooler at Carmel High School. But you're right, Dave. He had a stellar career for the Boilermakers of Purdue. Third down. That is McMillan. He turns the corner and is slammed out of bounds at the 25-yard line by Johnny Ray Smith. He is the other Charger who joined the team here in Indianapolis.
This is going to be a close measurement. He came up and McMillan really leveled his shoulder on the cornerback, but it's going to be questionable whether he made it or not.
He's short. He'll be short by about a foot. The ball nosing just over the 25. The yard marker on the far side of the field is about halfway between the 25 and 26. So it is fourth down.
Big decision for Frank Kush early in this game. He knows he's down by 10 points. He may just go for it.
And he is going for it. Herman is on. Question is he going for it, or is he going to try and get the Chargers to jump offside with a long count?
Well, he may do that. I'm sure that he'll start that, but if it gets too late, you'll see Herman come out of there with a timeout. But I think he's going to go for it.
That will be very, very close. Randy McMillan started left, then turned it upfield.
Oh, boy, you said it's going to be close, and it is. Oh, this is going to be the nose of the football. It's a game of inches, and you saw that disgusted look a little bit on McMillan's face because I don't think he feels that he made it.
Oh, it is going to be. You're right, Dave. It's going to be just a matter of a couple of inches here. So the clock is stopped with 13:50 to play. And you hate to talk about turning points or important plays this early in a ball game, but if San Diego takes over and marches in, let's watch.
Yeah, it's an awfully big play for both teams. Woo, it's a game of inches, isn't it? Oh. Watch the reaction here. McMillan just doesn't see anything out wide. He knows he's not going to get, and that's the leg strength that gets it. That leg strength, he's got 5 Chargers on him, and he still was able to get that first down. There was nothing there.
But you still have to question the wisdom of such a chance this early in a ball game.
Well, I don't believe that you go for things like that. I just feel that it's too early in the game. You're only down 10 points. Your defense has just stopped them, and you just don't do things like that. 2 weeks ago's game. There's a hero right now. Ray Butler, number 80, just electrified this crowd with about a 75-yard touchdown pass reception from Mark Herman. You'll see the pass out to your left here. Butler just comes into your picture, was thrown before he made the turn. He just turns it on at 74 yards, and he just outraces John Turner to the end zone. It has completely turned this crowd around. Listen to him here in Indianapolis. Wow.
Raul Allegre from the hold of Ron Stark. And we've got a new ball game. Say what you want about the wisdom of Frank Bush going for it on 4th down and less than a yard, but it pays very, very handsome dividends here. The clock stops. 13:17 to play in the first half. Welcome back. 13:17 to play in the second period, and Mark Herman has electrified the fans here in Indianapolis. 74 yards to Ray Butler. And now Dean Biasucci is on to boot it away to San Diego. Steve Bird, number 81. Buford McGee, number 21, back deep. This will be a tough one to handle. McGee has it at the goal line.
We talked about that play earlier, Phil, where the Chargers got down to the 1-yard line and didn't make that touchdown. That was a big play. Look at the room that Butler has on that play. He is absolutely wide open. He turned in, then turned back out. There's nobody going to catch him. And for the second time in 2 weeks, he has come up with an awfully big play. Put this game back 10-7. Boy, he's in the right place at the right time.
There you look at Ray Butler. 50-year out of Southern California. He leads the team in receptions. Bounce right over the middle. That's Egloff. Catches it once, catches it twice, but he'll only get credit for one catch.
I'll tell you, I am really impressed. I often played against Dan Fouts when I played for the Raiders, but I have never seen him sharper than he is right now. I don't know whether it's the culmination of the Monday night loss, the disappointing season, but he has hit every one of his wide receivers. He has hit on the hands.
We're going to keep our eyes on number 96, Blaze Winter. He is inciting this crowd, a la Mark Gastineau. 2nd and 4. Fouts, there's the misdirection screen to Jackson. He has the first down and much more out across the 33-yard line. Johnny Cooks and Cliff Odom on the stop.
Fouts has got to do something to get rid of that pressure, because this is an emotional crowd, and we're watching them stand up all around this stadium. They are really pumped up, and they are ready to watch these Colts really electrify them. They're standing up 63,000 inside this dome, and they're just screaming for their defense to come to life.
Now the wave has begun here at the Hoosier Dome. 1st and 10 Chargers. Hole through the right side, and Jackson finds it. He's across the 42. Cliff Odom again on the tackle.
Watch this play. It's just a straight power play to number 41, Ernest Jackson. A little shake, but boy, he just puts his head down right here, and he takes a shot. There's Nesby Glasgow again, number 25. That old veteran for this team at 6 years.
The Giants out in front of Dallas 6-0. A couple of Ali Haji Sheik field goals. Tampa Bay over Minnesota 14-3. Here at the Dome, it is San Diego 10, Indianapolis 7. There's Jackson. Oh, look out. Tate Randall. What a penetration by the left corner.
When they snapped that ball that time, as we watched that crowd react, they really want this big 3rd down play. But when they snapped that ball, Tate Randall was shooting in there. They just want to stop this San Diego team. They know they have to get pressure. A lot of pressure on that man's shoulders. But, you know, the stat about him that's so unbelievable is 39 times he's thrown for over 300 yards. Oh, that used to be great if you had one of those in your career.
There's the wave. And we will see it all day long if the Colts are able to stay close or take a lead.
Big down for Fouts and company. Is he going to run it or is he going to pass it?
Chandler, a first down at the midfield stripe. And Charger fans, I can tell you, Dave, are awfully happy to see number 89 back in the lineup. He took a shot 2 weeks ago against your former teammates.
Watch Fouts' action here. No time to get that pass. It's an intermediate pass. No time to really get that pressure on him. 5-step drop. He gets back as fast as anybody I've ever seen.
New Orleans out in front of Green Bay 7-0. But early in the second quarter, the Packers have just kicked a 41-yard field goal. So that is 7-3 now. First down, Fouts. That is Vendras, a first down at the 28-yard line. Well, he got Tate Randall to turn around and head for the flag, and just at that point, Vendras broke it off.
I was watching, that time I was watching Sam Clapham. Unbelievable. Boy, he was really in some action. But watch how open he is. You have to react that speed. There, Randall a little bit loses his footing. This turf is very, very sticky, and it's a real advantage. It's a 21-yard completion, but it's a real advantage for the offense because they don't have to react to what the defensive players are doing. They can just run their routes.
Another San Diego first down at the 27-yard line of Indianapolis. That's Jackson, starts right, comes back left, big hole inside the 20, down near the 18. Nesby Glasgow, the first man to hit him. He was joined on the play by Cliff Odom. Ernest Jackson, as I said earlier, did not figure really to have much of a place on this team. Boy, they like him now.
Well, they better like him because he runs hard. He runs straight ahead. He doesn't give you all that razzle-dazzle speed like some of the great speedsters do, the kind of herky-jerky action going out there, but he just puts down his head and he picks up 4 or 5 yards, and that's why he's got almost a 4.5-yard average. But look at those stats, 13 of 17.
And Joyner has 3 of those receptions for 55 yards. There's Jackson straight ahead. Used to call that the old quick opener during my college days. 8 minutes, 22 seconds to play in the first half. Other scores around the league. Let's take you to New York with this update.
All right, Phil, in Chicago, Walter Payton has scored his second touchdown of the afternoon. This run came after Mark Wilson was intercepted by Leslie Frazier. They're allowed at Soldier Field. It is 14-0 Bears second quarter.
Thank you, Billy. Appreciate that. I'll tell you, there are a lot of folks on the West Coast, particularly around America's finest city of San Diego, who are loving what's happening at Soldier Field. Fouts on first down. Quick dump. Jackson cannot hold on. Tried to make the one-hand catch in front of Cliff Odom. Suppose he heard Cliff's footsteps out there, too. Those are pretty big feet.
That's pretty big feet. Cliff Odom running out there, number 93. He's got some size to him.
Now we've talked about what Blaze Winner means to this defensive unit. He is number 96. We're going to keep our eyes on him. Well, he really gets this crowd going. He has come off the field right now, but I'll tell you, when he's in there, he's the Mark Gastineau of Indianapolis.
He is an enthusiastic person.
Second down and 10. Colts showing blitz. Here they come. Fouts unloads quickly and throws it away. There will be no flag. Johnny Cooks is overpleading his case. He wants a flag.
Well, Johnny Cooks was saying, who'd he throw it to? He didn't throw it to anybody.
Of course, on the other side of the ledger, Dave, Fouts could claim that a receiver misran a route.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did. He just said that the wide receiver just didn't do. He did a turn in instead of a turn out, and I just unloaded it. But that was a good play by Dan Fouts. He felt the pressure on the backside. He knew he had to get rid of it. The best thing to do is throw it out in that flat. The crowd here doesn't like it, though.
Third down and 10 from the 12-yard line. Again, the Colts showing blitz. Look at those linebackers right in Dan's face. And here they come. Short drop. Crossing pattern. It is almost intercepted. Looking for Wes Chandler. Almost found Vaughn Williams. And a flag is down at the 10-yard line.
Oh, this is in a bad spot for the Colts because it's on the line. Whether they held somebody coming off the line or not, that's the big decision right now. Whether they held the wide receiver coming off the line. If they did, no, it's going to be offsides. But it's going to be against the Colts. It's going to give them another opportunity. There's going to be third down and 5.
Defense offside. The man right over the nose guard.
Vernon Maxwell.
Vernon Maxwell. But look at that almost interception there by Vaughn Williams. He really played that ball well.
7 minutes, 41 ticks remaining in the first half. San Diego put the first 10 points on the board. Indianapolis came back on a 74-yard pitch to Ray Butler.
Now what do? Do you blitz them again like they've done the last 2 or 3 times, or do you lay back and try to protect?
Well, They've had success blitzing San Diego. I would be surprised if, in fact, they lay back. And now Dan sees something he doesn't like.
Well, he saw a lot of confusion. His receivers didn't know which way to go. He's watching the defense of the Colts, and they totally confused him, so he had to call a timeout.
Well, what a great shot that is. Fouts talking to that offensive line. We'll be back in a moment. Come on, Colts fans, get rowdy, says the banner. And they have been rowdy, and it will get a lot more rowdy. Third down and 5.
I'd go to Chandler in this situation. He is an outstanding athlete.
Going for Joyner. Touchdown, San Diego. Joyner gets behind Tate Randall. His 4th catch of the day.
Well, that was going to be my second choice, to go to Charlie Joyner. Who else can you throw it to? 16-year veteran. We talked about it. He just runs like you poured hot water down his back. He is something else. Boy, he knows he can sniff that ball. Fouts laid it perfect in there. It's just an absolutely perfect pass. It's laid over top of the defensive back. You see not too much pressure, but look how the height of that ball. He just lays it in there. Joyner, sure hands, just comes down with the ball. That offside certainly was a big play for the Colts.
Bonershka to tack on the point after, and he is perfect. So the clock stops with 7:36 to play. San Diego strikes. Dan Fouts to the old man, Charlie Joyner. We'll be back to the Dome in a moment. Well, the San Diego Chargers with 10 points here in the second period, and that's kind of falling right into the hands of the Indianapolis Colts.
Absolutely. The Colts have given up over 100 points. They've been outscored 2-1 in the second quarter, and they're not disappointing anybody today by that. They've done the exact same thing. They've given up 10 points already in this second quarter.
Al Bonershka is on. We are midway through the second quarter of play here at the Hoosier Dome. 7:36 remaining in the first half. Short kick. The ball will fall at the 18-yard line and go out of bounds. So Bonershka will tee it up again, this time from the 30-yard line as a flag flies. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
KCST-TV, San Diego.
Phil Stone along with Dave Rowe. 7:29 to play in the first half. San Diego got on the board in the first period. Charlie Joyner set up the touchdown with a 41-yard reception. Bonershka booted a 22-yard field goal on the first play of the second quarter, and then that man just a moment ago threw to the old man, 16-year veteran Charlie Joyner for the second touchdown.
Well, I want to let you know he's not talking to his mom on the phone there. He's talking to the coaches upstairs, and they're telling him the defensive coverages that the Colts are using against him, and he certainly, I don't know if he needs to talk to those coaches. He certainly has played well today. He's picked up the coverages every time, and again, they've given him protection.
Well, the game plan coming into the ball game was to try and isolate Charlie Joyner on Tate Randall, and they have been successful early in the ball game. Oh, Bonershka lets the air out of this one. That is Phil Smith at the 2-yard line. Here he comes. What a return to the 27-yard line and down there.
Well,
A 25-yard return.
Phil, this is really going to be one of the big series for the Colts because they've just allowed San Diego to drive 60 or 70 yards down the field and score. They have got to come up with some offense now and drive that ball out of this position, get at least down there where they can get a field goal. And they're only down by 10 points, but it's a big 10 points because it's early, and they have got to come out and establish something. Herman has got to get rid of the ball faster, and he's got to throw it up.
Chargers showing blitz. Billy Ray Smith right over center. Now he comes back. That is Dickey. Sweeps the left side. And he ran right into Keith Ferguson, who grabs him by the pads and lays him down gently.
Oh, he wasn't going anywhere. You talk about running into a man. 6'5", 255. He even took his hat off for him. He said, "You take your hat off for me when they come around this corner." 6'5", 255 pounds. Don't you know he's excited about that one because he played right here at Ohio State, and he's home, and you know his mom and dad and everybody's here. I think he just, and look, he actually almost dropped the ball.
Second down and 8 at the 28. Dickey thus far 4 rushes on the day for a grand total of 5 yards. Herman. That is McMillan. He moves it out near the 29. And oh, you can hear the popping on the sideline. Lyndon King is there, as is John Turner.
Well, if you want to play this game, you have to play with intensity. I don't care what position you're playing, you have to play with intensity. Now, McMillan just takes this simple swing pass, and they're trying to run the secondary deep. But watch the hit here. Those little defensive backs, they come up. Oh, they just amaze me. That's John Turner, number 27. Ouch. Boy, they come up and they take some shots.
Dave, what's happened to the defensive units? They don't seem to tackle anymore. It's almost like roll blocking runners.
Well, it is when you're a defensive corner and you're outweighed. You're 6 foot, as Turner is 193 pounds, and you're coming up and tackling a 245-pound running back. The best way to tackle him is to get out and get his feet out.
Andy McMillan into Charger territory at the 47-yard line. A 23-yard gallop for that man. Lee Williams, the left defensive end, had to go a long way to drop McMillan.
He ran about 35 yards to try and catch him, but watch this run by McMillan. He also has very deceiving speed. If he gets around this corner, and you can see the great block right there on the defensive linebacker, he can turn it up. Now watch this play. He just runs in. Look at how would you like to be number 33 there, just having to come up. Lucius Smith, stand there and let Randy McMillan run full speed into you. Ouch.
A first down at the San Diego 47. 5 minutes, 37 seconds to play. First down. There's the 3-step drop. It is complete to Ray Butler. He has the 74-yard touchdown for the Colts. Knocked out of bounds shy of the 40-yard line by John Turner.
Well, the Colts have done exactly what we said they had to do. They had to come out and establish something. They've now driven the ball about 35 yards, but that's what they had to do to get that momentum changing back so they have a chance to get back in this game. They really need a score in this last 5.5 minutes just before halftime. They need some type of a score, and they're driving down the field. It looks like they may get into field goal, at least field goal range.
The Colts have only put 5 touchdowns on the board in their last 5 games. 5:33 to play, first half. Out of the I formation now. That's the tailback, Dickey. And he will not turn the corner. What a job Lyndon King did. King in his 7th year out of Colorado State. Almost had an interception early in the ball game.
He played that play about as well as you can play as a linebacker. He strung it out all the way along the line. You'll see here that Dickey, with that outstanding speed, never gets the opportunity. King is coming along the line, plays down. You just can't play a play better than that. That's the one you want the coach to look at on Monday and say, King, you did a good job. And you say, thank you, Coach. I'm glad you put that out.
And that's also the one you hope the owner sees come contract time.
Or at least the general manager.
Or at least the GM. 4 minutes and 50 seconds left, second quarter. Herman, there's the crossing pattern. It is caught. Bernard Henry, his 2nd catch of the day, and Dave, that equals his season total.
Well, it's hard to believe that he was the outstanding receiver, the leading receiver. And I talked about earlier, and I've talked to several players on this team, he does not run disciplined routes. He runs wherever he wants to run. But the thing that makes this play work is that Herman has no pressure on him. Henry can just turn in. He's running the patterns much better now because he has learned that Frank Kush is not going to put up with an undisciplined pattern. You have got to have disciplined patterns. If that pattern is supposed to break off at 13 yards, it has to break off at 13 yards, or else all the timing is messed up.
From the 35-yard line of San Diego, it is 1st and 10 Colts. Now Dickey shifts into the left set. Herman with time again. Unloads. It is caught at the 22-yard line. It is Ray Butler.
Mark Herman's proven he's got a little bit of Dan Fouts in him. He could have stood back here as we watch Butler do this out pattern at about 15 yards. Perfect out pattern. But the thing that made this play work again is the fact that Mark Herman could have sat back there and peeled an apple. He had enough time to do it.
Herman, 7 of 12 now, 113 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Butler, 3 catches for 94 yards, and we have still not reached halftime. There's the draw. It is McMillan. Inside the 20, down near the 17. Well, Dave, you talked about it early in the first period. You've got to throw the ball successfully if you hope to open up that ground game.
Absolutely. If you cannot throw the ball, then you cannot run the ball. Each one complements the other one. When a team does not have to worry about a pass or does not have to worry about the run, they can concentrate their defense to stop. There's the defensive coordinator for San Diego, Mr. Bass. They call him Mr. Bass there. Look at the size of him. He looks like an old defensive lineman.
Boy, if he wants to be called Mr. Bass, what else are you going to call him?
Whatever we want. Whatever he wants us to.
3:13 to play. Clock is ticking. 17-7, San Diego. Dickey inside the 10 to the 7-yard line. Lyndon King on the tackle. Woody Lowe also in the neighborhood. First and goal, Colts.
It almost seems as if Mark Herman has taken a page out of Dan Fouts' book, because he's come out here and he's throwing those intermediate passes. They know he doesn't have the protection that he normally has, but watch how quick this pass is. You can see it's a 3-4 step drop. Boom, the ball's off right there. It's off. It's a timing pattern, and it's picking up that 7-8 yards. That's not a bad record for today.
Not bad at all. The wideouts, Tracy Porter, Ray Butler to the left. First and goal from the 7. That is McMillan. Slices his way to the 4 and down. Billy Ray Smith, second year out of Arkansas.
Well, when McMillan gets up on this pattern, he knows if he had cut it back sharper, he had a touchdown, but he just got hit there, and he just realized when he got up, he slapped the ground after that play, because he realized if he cut it back a little bit sharper as we come down to the 2-minute warning, that he would have had a touchdown, but they're really in position.
So the clock stops. Both team captains will trot to their respective sides of the field. 2 minutes remaining, first half. The Chargers 17, the Colts 7. It is San Diego over the Indianapolis Colts 17-7. Don't forget, stay tuned. NFL 84 coming your way next here on NBC. Bob Costas, Bill McAtee, Ahmad Rashad, the Axe. Cast of thousands in Studio 6A in New York. All the highlights and scores. Second down and goal, Indianapolis. Dickey. Flag is down. Hold everything.
This one, when he put those hands up and he said hold everything, it could be against the Colts, and if it is, that man right in the middle, Frank Kush, is going to be a little upset.
Oh, the touchdown is nullified. Offside against the Colts.
Well, the thing that makes that so bad is that it was offsides on the far side, away from where the play was going, and there's a very little excuse for something like that. You can tell Dickey is upset about it too.
Number 88 was lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty and second down.
Oh, my goodness. Bernard Henry, who has 2 catches today.
You can hear the teeth on that man grind. Boy, he's just putting them teeth together. Just, golly, I don't believe it. But he's on the other side of the line, away from the play. It's an easy touchdown here for Dickey. They're back in it. Ouch. This one really hurts, because it would have put them down 17-14. And now they've come back, and it's almost going to be a passing situation, because now it's second down and goal to go. They've got 10 yards to go. That is a crucial play, and you better believe that number 88 will hear about it on Monday.
Well, Henry is now split wide to the left, right there in the left upper portion of your screen. Dickey is in motion. Herman will be wrapped up, and a flag falls again. First time today that San Diego has dropped the passer for the Chargers, only their 22nd sack of the year. And I think, to add insult to injury, Dave, we're going to have a holding penalty. Now it is illegal motion against Indianapolis.
Well, they're going to decline it because they did sack him for a loss, but what
33,
is crucial.
illegal motion. Decline the penalty. Third down.
Take the down away from him.
But it really makes, you can see Dickey turns up. See in the top part of your picture, watch him turn up right there. Just before the snap, he turns up. You can't do that. You cannot run towards the line of scrimmage. But what a big play by Bernard Henry. Offsides, he's out of the play. He's not even a factor in that play. Instead of being 17-14, you're going to be lucky if it's 17-10 perhaps.
And now the Colts want a timeout to talk things over. The clock stops with 1 minute and 52 seconds to play. That man certainly has not liked what he has seen the last couple of plays, and the man he's going to talk to doesn't either. There you see the time remaining. Frank Kush somewhat concerned. His Colts trailing the Chargers 17-7. The Colts and the Chargers both with 2 timeouts to play. Keep your eyes on number 33. it up. And it is almost intercepted again by Tim Fox. Pass intended for Tracy Porter.
Oh, boy, was Dave Young wide open. When he came off the line, he was absolutely wide open. He threw up his hands. He couldn't believe. But Herman really didn't have the time to find him. But you'll see him. He comes right off in the middle of the field. There's how fast it's running. Now watch Porter right there in the middle. You can see him, number 81 in the back of your picture. Oh, he was so open. They throw it to him, he probably dropped it. You may see it from this angle, but he was 83 was well covered Porter.
Raul Alegre is on. This field goal attempt will come from 33 yards away. Ron Stark will hold for Alegre. He lets it fly, hits the upright, and comes right back at him. Well, I'll tell you, when the wheels fall off, they really fall off here.
Yes, they do. It just compounds the fact there have been 2 big plays in this game. The one where they didn't make the touchdown on the San Diego's point, and this one here when they had a touchdown and had it called back.
San Diego, and Eric has volunteered right alongside.
Take the touchdown off the board on the offside by Bernard Henry. The field goal that hits the upright, and the Chargers have the football at their own 20, and the personality of this team is to come out throwing, and they're doing just that. Out of the backfield. That is Lionel James, who has an ankle injury. Not expected to see a lot of action today. Has it at the 25-yard line.
Well, that's some tall company. That's some tall company to be in.
Number 2 on the all-time reception yardage list. Has 4 catches today. There's the draw play. James has it again. Fighting his way. And he is finally dropped by Leo Wisniewski, the nose tackle, who handled Don Masick pretty well on that play.
Well, if I was the Colts, I'd call timeout if they hold him here on this 3rd down play, because they could get the ball back. They do have 2 timeouts left, so they could get the ball back in relatively good field position.
Fouts looking to the far sidelines. He takes his offensive signals from Dave Levy. And they are wired down to Levy from Ernie Zampese up here in the press box. 36 seconds remaining. Fouts. That's Joyner, a first down, and he cannot hold on. Charlie hit hard by Nesby Glasgow.
Well, as great as Charlie is, he's once in a while, he's allowed to drop one. He probably should have had that catch, but it was a difficult catch. It was right at the ground level, so it was tough. But Indianapolis is going to get the ball back, and they should have it back somewhere around midfield, depending upon the kick of Buford. They've got 29 seconds, and they've got a field goal kicker in Biasucci that can kick the fire out of the ball. He can kick that thing from 50 yards. So there's the big decision. Are they going to go with Biasucci if they get in position, or are they going to go with Alegre?
Maury Buford, his 2nd punt of the day. His first one sailed 58 yards. Line drive. That's Glasgow. Oh, and he will not get a return here. Buford sends it out of bounds at the 24-yard line. The clock stops with 21 seconds to play. For Buford, a 47-yard punt.
Well, when things go right, they go right. It was a line drive punt, just what the Colts wanted. But again, they were not able to get over there. Nesby Glasgow couldn't get over and field it, so consequently it took about a 20-yard roll and went out of bounds. So it was a big kick for San Diego.
So Herman is back on. He has gone all the way in this ball game. Pagel, the word is he could play if he needed to. And of course, Schleister is available.
I'd go back to Ray Butler in this situation.
Herman pressured, gets away. It is George Wansley. Wansley, the younger brother of the Redskins running back Otis Wansley, and he is rolled down by Lyndon King.
Well, now who wants timeout? Well, they completed the pass, but with only 10 seconds, it's hard to get in field goal range and get the clock stopped, because it's going to take at least 8 to 10 seconds to get down somewhere in field goal range. So this is what you call one of those long passes.
But remember a play earlier this year when Dickey took a pitch out from Peggle, rolled right, and hit Tracy Porter 64 yards downfield.
Absolutely. That would be a great call right here to run that halfback option pass. You'd run it this direction towards the wide side of the field and let him unleash a bomb and see what they can do. But of course, the San Diego Chargers have scouted this team, and they know those statistics. There's a tremendous amount of preparation goes in when you prepare for your opponent. The defense studies 3 or 4 game films. They look at all the statistics. They know that Curtis Dickey has thrown a 64-yard pass. And if you asked any one of the defensive people, they'd tell you.
But I'll tell you one other thing Frank Cush and his defensive people know, and that is that the San Diego defensive secondary is starting on a new alignment for the 6th time in 9 games. And you have to wonder if perhaps you get the ball out to Dickey, if you could perhaps confuse that defensive secondary. Well, now it may be a moot point because Dickey is coming to the near sideline. He's coming out of the ball game.
Well, we're getting ready for NFL 84, and that's going to be exciting at halftime. But I wanted to ask you, is there any truth that Bob Costas might take up professional wrestling?
I know he was big at Madison Square Garden a couple of weeks ago. Second down. There's the toss out to Wansley. The screen. He does not get out of bounds. Lyndon King came from his left outside cornerback position all the way across the field to drop Wansley. And that is it. The first half has come to a close, and it is San Diego 17, the Colts 7.
Well, they have to come back. The Chargers have come out and they've controlled this game. The big play for the Colts is that offside where they were going to be down 17-14. It took them totally out of their position. Different ball game.
That's the end of the first half. Score: Chargers 17, the Colts 7. Halftime, and San Diego leading the Indianapolis Colts 17-7. And Dave, we asked the question at the outset whether or not San Diego's trigger man would be able to stand up today. Boy, he has stood up very well.
He has stood up very well. He has had an awful lot of time to throw the ball. His completion record is very, very good, and he is getting time to pass the ball, and he will absolutely tear a team apart if he has the time.
Of course, the other question we asked whether or not he would have any receivers who could run under the pigskin. Kellen Winslow, Pete Holohan, Eric Sievers, all 3 sidelined with injuries. But boy, he has gone to the wily Charlie Joyner.
Well, he certainly has. Joyner has certainly been playing well.
All right, NFL 84 halftime activities will continue in a moment. We'll be right back.
And we welcome those of you watching the San Diego-Indianapolis game back to NFL 84 here in New York. Bob Costas along with Bill McAtee, a chance to update what's been going on around the league so far today. Ahmad Rashad told you on the pregame show about how intimidating the new monsters of the Midway can be, talking about the Chicago Bears. Well, they are putting the hurt on the Raiders today at Soldier Field. They have knocked Mark Wilson out of the game twice, and they also knocked his replacement David Humm out. So despite the fact that under ordinary circumstances Wilson would be on the sidelines right now, he has returned for a 3rd time. As you know, Jim Plunkett is on the injured reserve for a few more weeks, so if both Wilson and Humm are unable to make it, and any time later today, they would have to go to their punter, Ray Guy, as their quarterback. On top of those troubles, Chicago leads the ball game as well by a score of 14-0 on a pair of touchdown runs by Walter Payton. Let's take a look at the highlights. This is not the Coliseum in Rome. It's Soldier Field. Payton scored for the first time on an 18-yard run. The Raiders were offside. The penalty obviously declined. This play had been set up by a 50-yard pass from Jim McMahon to Willie Gault. 7-0 Bears in the first. On to the second quarter. And a nifty run by Payton here, dancing around the left side for an 8-yard TD. And that is where they stand, approaching halftime, 14-0, the Bears in front. They are at halftime in Dallas. The Giants trying to beat the Cowboys twice in the same season for the first time since 1963. Dallas leads at 7-6 on a Gary Hogeboom touchdown pass of 30 yards to Tony Hill. Danny White started. He suffered an injured shoulder, however, when sandwiched by Leonard Mitchell and Lawrence Taylor of the Giants, so Hogeboom has come on. In the game you're watching, as you know, San Diego leads Indianapolis by a score of 17-7 at the half, and they have moved to the 3rd quarter at the Silverdome in Pontiac. Detroit leading the Eagles 17-6. The Eagles scoring on a pair of 52-yard field goals by Paul McFadden. Bill? All right, Bob. Houston and Pittsburgh, since week 1, the Oilers have allowed 70% of the passes thrown against them to be completed. If you know that, it's not surprising they come in today at 0-9. Rain at Three Rivers Stadium. Chuck Noll has stayed with Mark Malone at quarterback. He's thrown a couple of touchdown passes today. This one early on, one of two today to John Stallworth. It covers 43 yards, 7-0 Pittsburgh. Move now to the second quarter. This time, Malone scores on the ground, the bootleg. He goes 13 yards. Watch the nice block there by John Stallworth. It is now 21-0 in Pittsburgh. The Steelers lead it nearing the end of the first half. Tampa Bay and Minnesota, two Central Division teams that have struggled. James Wilder, the NFL's all-purpose yardage leader, has scored both touchdowns for Tampa Bay. It is 14-10 at the half. Cleveland and Buffalo, a test for the faithful at Rich Stadium. Rain and wind in Buffalo to watch two teams that between them have lost 16 straight ball games. First score of the day was set up by this play. Joe Ferguson back to pass. He's intercepted by Al Gross. That set up a 28-yard field goal by Matt Barr, who has kicked two, but the Bills scored here as Paul McDonald fumbles. A 34-yard return by Chris Keating. 7-6 Bills at the half. And down in the Superdome, the Packers are coming off an impressive win last week against Detroit. A case can be made that Green Bay is better than their 2-7 record, but they're all tied up now as Morton Anderson has kicked a 35-yard field goal after a touchdown pass from Lynn Dickey to Paul Kaufman. Bob, sorry.
Makes no difference. I'll answer to anything you want to call me. An update from Soldier Field in Chicago. Mark Wilson, despite being knocked woozy on one occasion and suffering a sprained thumb later, is back in quarterbacking the Raiders. They trail the Bears 14-0. We'll be back after these words from your local stations. The last time Denver won 8 games in a row, as a matter of fact, that's a club record, and this would be their 8th in a row if they win today. It goes back to their Super Bowl season of 1977. They had a 7-game winning streak to start that year after winning their last one the year before. How good do you think this year's edition of the Broncos are, Ahmad?
I think they've pretty well established themselves as a pretty good football team, but the pressure's on them because their season actually starts now. When you start off and show everybody in the country that you're a good football team, teams start to get ready for you. And the toughest thing in football is win the games that you're supposed to win. As far as New England's concerned, they celebrated last week because they got rid of Ron Meyer and everybody was happy and they went out and had something to play for. About Tuesday or Wednesday, it all went back to normal, and now they're just trying to win some football games.
Is it tough as a visiting player to perform at Mile High Stadium, or is that no factor really?
It's tough initially. When you go out to the warm-ups and everything, it's something you have to adjust to. I'd say the toughest thing to deal with is actually weather, not really that high altitude.
And the report that we have is that weather today, at least, at Mile High Stadium, probably not later in the year, but today, no real factor as New England prepares to play the Denver Broncos. Okay, let's move over to Pete Axthelm. Miami and the Jets, as we can see, you're completely nonpartisan in your view of this contest, and may we have your deep and wise thoughts, please.
As you pointed out on the pregame show, Bob, I'm viewing this contest with the objectivity of Solomon. But, you know, thinking about Dan Marino, there's lots of things to say about him. I think back to when Affirmed won the Triple Crown with the 18-year-old jockey Steve Cawthon, and everyone was amazed that a teenager could be so cool, win the Triple Crown. And once his trainer, Las Barrera, was asked about...
You talk about San Diego. Here's a ball club that has lost their last 3. The Colts have dropped 3 of their last 4, but the Chargers playing an inspired brand of offense.
Well, they're playing inspired ball. You're right, but they've gone to the old reliable veteran, number 18, Charlie Joyner. 16 years, we've talked a lot about him, and Fouts can rely on him. He's lost all the other receivers, but Joyner's still there.
Oh, that Joyner catch set up that first touchdown by Ernest Jackson, and then an interception of Mark Herman, Timmy Fox.
Well, this was an interesting play because he only gets down to the 2-yard line. The Colts came on and stopped him on this play. They stopped him, made him kick a field goal, and it might play an important part in this game.
Yeah, that field goal gave San Diego a 10-0 lead, but then Herman came right back, slipped the ball out to Ray Butler, and he beat John Simmons in a foot race.
74 yards he ran this play, and it ignited this crowd.
But then it was number 18 again. Fouts up top over Tate Randall and Charlie Joyner. When is he ever going to stop being able to do that, Dave?
Well, I think he'll stop when he has grandchildren, but look at this play by Raul Allegre. When they had a touchdown scored, it had it called back. They tried a field goal, and they missed a field goal. Instead of being down 17-10, they're down 17-3.
And take a look at the first half statistics. Yards passing, fairly close. Total yards, awfully close. But take a look at time of possession, Dave.
Well, they have controlled the ball. I did say 17-3. It's 17-7. But you're right. The Chargers have come out and they've controlled the ball with that intermediate passing. They haven't tried to go real long. They've played very, very consistent football. It's something that a team, when they are losing, has to do. They have to come out and establish something and play sound football.
Well, we are set to go. The Chargers will boot it away here as we open the second half of play.
There's the NFL Man of the Year right there. Not that. That's Frank Kush, but he could be. But Bernershka, unbelievable story. Everybody knows the story about him, how he fought to come back from Crohn's disease. I really love that guy. He's a super person.
No argument for me. Bernershka. That is Kofensis at the 21-yard line. He steps out of bounds at the 24. So the Colts, under the tutelage of Mark Herman, will begin the second half of play at their own 24-yard line. Herman will start as quarterback. McMillan and Dickey, the running backs. The receivers, Butler, Dave Young, and Tracy Porter. The offensive line, Wright, Bennett, Ray Donaldson, Solt, and Jim Mills.
I would hate to have been in that Colts locker room at halftime when Frank Kush got on the horn, because I'll guarantee you one thing. He told the offense, don't ever be offside on a play when you're not involved. Now the Colts have got to come out and establish something early, get that momentum back. They drove the ball 60 yards. Let's see if they can really get back into this game.
There's Porter going in motion. Billy Ray Smith showing blitz. Here they come. The give right up the gut. That is Dickey. He breaks into the San Diego secondary. Big gain outside the 30-yard line.
I've had the feeling all game that if Curtis Dickey just gets that one block, he is going to be off to the races. That speed that he has, no one will bring him down, but he has not been able to break into clear. You see on this play, he's cutting it up inside. San Diego's playing well off the blocks. They converge, and of course they're bringing him down. He did gain about 6 yards, but that's not the Curtis Dickey that's going to hurt him today. The one that's going to hurt him is the 70-yarder.
Second down and 3. Here's McMillan. Now there's just a superb second effort. McMillan dives out, has the first down. Chuck Ian finally brought him down. Woody Lowe had a shot at nailing him at the 30-yard line, could not hold on.
It always amazes me when I watch these running backs. They come up there and they jump into the hole, and you're a big defensive lineman. You're running. You're ready just to make the biggest hit of your career out there, and all of a sudden he stops on a dime, does a complete 360 spin, turns up and gets the first down. Oh.
At the 34-yard line now. Butler splits wide to the right. He is at the top corner of your screen. Porter wide left. Chargers again showing blitz. Billy Ray Smith up in the hole. And here he comes. Herman, quick drop. That's Butler. Oh, what a shot! Gil Byrd could be whistled, and he is not being flagged.
Well, he probably should have been that time, because Gil Byrd came up and delivered a forearm to the face of Porter, and you cannot do that. I was surprised that he was not called. You cannot hit a wide receiver like he just did in the face. Oh, boy, he stung him.
But I'll tell you, Gil Byrd has something to prove. Steve Largent Monday night ate him up.
Yes, he did. He had enough touchdowns and receptions that I remember Steve Largent real well. Wouch.
On 2nd and 10, Herman. Intercepted. That is the man we're speaking of. Gil Byrd is swung out of bounds. Randy McMillan takes him out.
Well, this is an absolutely terrible pass. I hesitate to say that because I don't like being critical, people. But Mark Herman just threw this pass into coverage. There was absolutely no chance that was going to be caught. And Byrd was just dropping back, playing center field there, and he just circled underneath it. And it was a very, very poorly thrown Byrd ball. That's one that Herman wishes he had back. Watch this pass. He's not under a lot of pressure. He just lays it up, and you can see all the yellow jerseys, white jerseys around. Very, very poorly thrown ball.
Well, it was intended for his tight end, Dave Young. First down, San Diego with the 31. Fouts. Plenty of time. Going deep. Chandler. And I'm not sure if it was tipped or not. Kofensis was in the neighborhood. The ball hit Chandler in the pads and tucked away.
I think what happened is it more or less distracted him from the ball. The fact that Kofensis came into the picture, I don't believe he really touched the ball as much as the ball. He distracted the vision of the receiver, and Chandler just didn't keep his eyes on it. He takes his eyes off. But watch Fouts' angle here. He just no pressure. He unloads the ball. Now here comes Kofensis into your picture. See, he doesn't really touch the ball. It hits Chandler right in the hands.
Second down and 10. Free down San Diego. Fouts puts it up, caught by Egloff, his 4th catch of the day at the 25-yard line, and Barry Krause drops him with help from the rookie out of Syracuse, Blaze Winter.
Well, they'll most likely decline this because Fouts had great voice inflection. He drew the defense offside. Most plays, when you practice go on 2, they come up to the line, they set the line. They come up and they set the line. To watch his Fouts there. He just gets up there and he yells, hut, hut, like that, real fast, and it just draws that defensive player offside. You're so poised, you're so tight down there, you're just ready to fire off that ball, and you hear that sound. That's why all defensive line coaches teach you to go on motion.
Second down and 5 from the Colts 25. Morris in motion. There's a quick pitch. Jackson around the corner. Barry Krause. Boy, outstanding pursuit by the 6th-year veteran out of Bear Bryant country.
I was here with Barry Krause when he was drafted as a rookie out of Alabama. And I thought he had tremendous skills if he could just learn the defensive scheme. And that's the thing that he's done so well. There's 3 things that you have to do. You first have to have lateral speed, and you have to have acceleration in the hole. But you have to recognize the formation, you have to have confidence, and you have to have patience to play linebacker. And he's developed.
There you see the penalties. They have not been a factor in this ball game. 12 minutes, 31 seconds left, 3rd quarter. Fouts on 3rd and a bunch. Joyner, look at that catch, and he is hit instantly by Kofensis. For Joyner, his 5th catch of the day. And it takes the ball to the 14-yard line, and most importantly, it gives the Chargers a 1st down, Dave.
What a big play by Fouts. An excellent timing pattern. You'll see as he makes his, that's Chandler, but he's going to run him deep. There's Joyner coming in underneath. But the thing that makes that play work so well is that when Joyner makes his cut, he has his back to Fouts. The ball is already on his way. That ball, there's no way that ball is going to be intercepted because as he turns out, the ball is right there in his hands. Great timing.
1st down from the 14. Jackson puts his head down at the 10-yard line and slams into Nesby Glasgow.
Well, it's really important here if you're a Colts fan that you hold, because this is straight just power football. 41, Jackson just puts down his head and he plows it. And you see him coming into the picture, but they have got to hold him to a field goal here or else it's 24-7.
Joyner goes wide left. Chandler wide to the right. Jackson straight ahead. A good call if you're a Chargers fan. And a flag sails in. It'll be holding against San Diego.
Well, that's the best defensive play you can have if you're a defensive player. I used to love that call. That's the best play you can have. A holding call on the offense.
Offensive holding, number 62.
Now, you're not supposed to do that, Don Masick. Now, there's a man that's a little upset at that. He has got the strongest eyes I've ever seen in football, Coach Coryell. Boy, when he looks at you, wow.
I think the word's intense.
Oh, intense. I don't ever think that describes him. I'm going to tell you, his eyes, he can look right through you. And if you're on the sideline as in the game as a player, and you look over the sideline, you know that coach is looking right at you. He's looking right through you.
During the offseason, Don and his family really enjoy camping and fishing. I wonder if he has that same mindset when he's camping. 2nd down and 15. Fouts all the time in the world. Look at here. Chandler, oh, in and out of his hands. Chandler got behind Vaughn Williams and Eugene Daniel, and the ball was there.
Well, again, it's that block of vision, and it's a lack of concentration. And the type of receiver that Chandler is, he's supposed to catch that ball. It's the 2nd one that he's had. You'll see that Vaughn Williams, number 40, is going to come in your picture. He doesn't really touch the ball, but watch where it hits. He comes into the picture. It's a high catch, but that's a very catchable ball. That's a concentration catch. That's why they're really great receivers, and he is certainly one of them. That's what's so surprising.
That's an entree for Wes Chandler, and he could not down it. 3rd and 15. Fouts moving right out of the pocket. There's Joyner. He cannot hold it. It is intercepted. Preston Davis. And Joyner is down at the 10. He is not hurt. Disgust is the word.
Well, he's absolutely disgusted because he should have held on to this ball. There's no way he should have dropped this ball. That ball was thrown well. Fouts comes out. A little bit of pressure in the middle. He slides out. That's the movement that we talked about. The ball hits Joyner. It pops up in the air. Interception. And now we're going the other way.
Today's game is brought to you by Today's Chevrolet. See Today's Chevy, drive Today's Chevy, live Today's Chevy. By Nikon, we take the world's greatest pictures. And by Duracell, the copper top battery. When it comes to making them last longer, we never stop.
Well, when you don't catch the ball when you're supposed to, it's a big play. And they just intercepted. The Colts have just intercepted the ball. Could turn the entire momentum. The Chargers just about ready to put this game out of reach, 24-7. And now the Colts have got the momentum. Their offense has got the ball. They just come up with an awfully big player. And that player right there, Preston Davis, number 27, just intercepted an awfully big pass.
Second man through is Curtis Dickey. He does not get much, maybe a yard. As we said during NFL 84, neither the Chargers nor the Colts, Dave, with much of a shot at any playoff action.
Well, I think that there's got to be an awful lot of teams that don't want to go to the playoffs if the Chargers or the Colts are going to get there. They don't have that opportunity this year, but you don't quit in this game. You play the game, 16 games, and you play all 16 because there's always next year, and you've got to get your team prepared.
Herman bootlegs. Now unloads. That's Porter at the 25. Moves it out to the 35. A big first down. Billy Ray takes him out. With help from number 92, Eric Williams, the newcomer, a 22-yard gain.
This was the big play that we talked about, the interception. Fouts under a little bit of pressure, but he throws the ball into Joyner. This is what turned it around. The pop off of Joyner's shoulder, and watch the head-up play of 27, Davis. Fires underneath the ball, and it's changed the momentum. The game was just about ready to be out of reach, and here come the Colts now. They're coming back. They've driven the ball out here at about the 35, 40-yard line, and they are coming back.
First down, 10 minutes and 5 seconds to play in the third period here in Indianapolis. Herman, play action. Intercepted. John Turner will take it all the way. Or will he? Now they're whistling him out of bounds at the 1, inside the 1.
How many times can you call upon a defense? The Colts are going to be called upon here. But the thing that causes this interception is Mark Herman. He looks all the way at the wide receiver. He never takes his eyes off him, and they just react right to that wide receiver. It just draws a crowd. All the defensive secondary are playing the eyes of Herman. He has got to learn to look off those wide receivers. This is not college football, and I don't mean that in any disrespect to him, but you have got to look off. Watch the direction that Herman looks. He rolls out here. Now look at his eyes. He's looking there all the way, and you've got plenty of time. Look how far back the defensive corner comes to intercept that ball. You've got to look off.
A 39-yard return for John Turner. First and goal. First man through. That is Wayne Morris, and San Diego is on the board. A touchdown here at 9:53 left in the third period. And again, it is a third turnover in the ball game for the Colts that allows San Diego to move out in front 23-7.
Now the big decision is, are you going to bring in Mike Pagel? They did this 2 weeks ago, and they came back. But I think Cush is probably going to allow Herman probably to learn by his mistakes, because he is a future quarterback in this league, and he just has to learn that you have to look off that primary receiver. You've got to look back. The great quarterbacks like Fouts, you'll see the head motion. He'll look to his primary receiver. He'll come back across the grain and pick up a secondary receiver, and then comes right back to the person he wants to throw to. But you have got to look out, because they are continually playing the eyes of the quarterback. They're looking at what he's looking at.
Alvin Erskine tacks on the point after. Clock stops. 9:53 left in the third quarter, and San Diego landed on Indianapolis. When he walked off the campus of Purdue, was the NCAA's all-time leading passer. He had 9 NCAA records, a half dozen Big Ten records, 23 of them at Purdue. But he is finding out what it is to be baptized into the NFL today. Van Erskine lets it fly. Rolfe has not kicked off well at all today. Flag flies. The Chargers will kick it again.
Well, it's hard to believe that you can come back as Rolfe did 3 weeks ago. He had kidney surgery to remove kidney stones. And yesterday in practice, he came over to me, and we're really good friends. I have, as I said, a great admiration for him. And he showed me the scar that he had on his back. I'll bet it was 6 inches long across his back. And he said, I just had kidney stones removed 3 weeks ago.
Well, he also showed you an IOU. You owed him money. Did you pay him?
Oh, he's a great guy.
He really is.
He's one of the typical football players, a zoology major.
Well, he does a great deal with the San Diego Zoo. Of course, his father, Dr. Benershka, working at the San Diego Zoo. And Rolf is taking a group of folks over into the Pacific Islands next April.
All right,
take a tour.
I got a question for you. Do you know where the largest zoo in the world is?
The largest zoo in the world.
That's right.
New York.
Asheboro, North Carolina. It is, believe it or not.
Rolf lets it fly. That's Phil Smith at the 7-yard line. And he's down at the 25, and a flag goes in. It will be against Indianapolis.
Ouch, when it rains, it pours. This is going to be a foolish call. It's going to be an illegal block.
Number 90, illegal block in the back. Number 90.
That's Gary Pagan.
And he's coming over saying, well, I really didn't mean to do that. I'm just a little frustrated, Coach. We got to get back in this thing. We got to score a touchdown.
Well, while Ben's right, the referee walks it off. We'll take a timeout. The Colts will begin from their own 10-yard line. Gary Player, you'll remember a year ago, Dave walked off with $170,000 in that Skins game.
Typical little day in the Skins game.
That's right.
Wow.
Oh, it's all coming your way here on a November to remember on NBC. 9:39 left, third period. There you see a score. Detroit over the Eagles, 17-13. Herman with time. Little screen dumped off. Intended for Randy McMillan. The Chargers pursuing very well. Boy, almost found John Turner. Minnesota out in front of Tampa Bay, 17-14 in the third.
Well, that's the same team that got 12 sacks last week. Minnesota was sacked 12 times.
Dave Young, the tight end, third year out of Purdue, having trouble getting up.
Those fans are really reacting to this. They want something. They want some offensive scoring, and you can see there's a massive change on San Diego because they know they're going to have to pass.
You know, Young is up and coming off the field under his own power.
He was the one that Herman had thrown to so much at Purdue. I believe he led the nation in college receiving, so that doesn't help Mr. Herman at all.
Now the Buffalo Bills maybe on their way to their first victory of the year.
That's the truth. 10-6, but at least they're ahead.
Second down and 10. Little cross block. Dickey busts it to the 25. Andre Young on the tackle. A 15-yard gain for that man.
Well, that's the thing that Curtis Dickey can do so quickly for you. Get that secondary, and if Andre Young, number 49, is not there, he goes about 95 yards because he breaks into the secondary. If he can fake Young out there, he can go 95 yards for the touchdown.
A first down for the Colts. Dickey grabs it at the 30 and is made to pay Mike Green with help from Eric Williams.
You know, Phil, the interesting thing about that is the difference in the throwing of both Herman and Fouts. Fouts on that pass would have drilled it in. Herman, it just looked like it just took all day to get there. He's got to get more velocity on his ball. He's got to throw that ball harder because the coverage in the National Football League is so much greater. But he is a quarterback of the future, and he's going to learn how to play this game, and he's going to be a very good quarterback.
Herman, 12 of 21 for 158 yards, but the telling tale, 3 interceptions. There's the draw. That is McMillan. Doesn't fool anybody in white. Keith Ferguson, Eric Williams again on the stop.
You said it exactly right. It didn't fool anybody. The only time the draw fools anybody is when you've got an unbelievable pass rush and you get those defensive linemen flying upfield and linebackers flying back for coverage. You're not going to fool anybody with 2nd down and 5 on a draw play.
Now we've talked about the Chargers defensive line. Chuck Ian, Bill Elko, Keith Ferguson. Not one of the more heralded threesomes in all of pro football. Now the Chargers with 4 down linemen, the 6 defensive backs on 3rd and 5. Terrific coverage by San Diego. In fact, too good. Pass interference on Bernard Henry. And it will probably be whistled against Tim Fox. Johnny Ray Smith also in the area. Automatic first down at the 41-yard line. Clock has stopped, 7:34 to play in the third quarter.
45, and that's the first down.
Johnny Ray Smith, who just joined the ball club about 5 o'clock last night, flew in from Atlanta. Let's go to New York now for this update.
All right, Phil, Mark Malone, who had 3 touchdown passes a week ago, has 3 more today. And for the 3rd time, it goes to number 82, John Stallworth. Malone on the run, hits Stallworth at the goal line. It covers 39 yards, 28-0. The Steelers lead it.
Thank you, Bill. And, of course, folks around San Diego certainly remember Mark Malone played his high school ball in El Cajon. That's Dickey. Dives out of the grasp of Mike Green to the 48-yard line and stopped there.
Well, another comment on that update is that you have to be excited for John Stallworth.
Yes,
in the twilight of his career, he's having his best year he's ever had. He runs like he's right out of college.
3rd touchdown for Stallworth today.
Boy, you know, it's amazing how the players, the older players just seem to last, and the younger players are coming on. The football league is really changing. When I say that, there's getting so much more potential and so much more enthusiasm and strength out of these players when they come into the league today. I just don't think you're going to see the 14, 15-year player very much longer. I think it's going to be 7, 8, 9 years.
Of course, I want to talk about that in just a moment. There's the give. That's George Wansley. Breaks 1 tackle, breaks 2 tackles, and heads for the 40-yard line and is stopped. Mike Green had him at the line of scrimmage and could not hold on.
Wansley, just a rookie out of Mississippi State, has really come out and played hard. He replaces Curtis Dickey. You can see the move there. He stopped on the line. He gets through that tackle. Now watch this little move right here. Gets around there. Now watch all the shoulder action. Turns it back up inside. And he's got him down in field position, but they have got to score on this play. They cannot be down by 17 points going into the 4th quarter.
A first down at the San Diego 39-yard line with 6 minutes even to play in the 3rd period. The Chargers out in front 24-7. Here's the double reverse. Phil Smith, and it doesn't fool anybody. Eric Williams stayed home at his outside linebacker spot.
Well, the reason it didn't fool anybody is because number 73, Steve Wright, missed his block. It's a hard block to make, but he just really missed it. You'll see the action here. Now watch 73. See if he comes. There he is in your picture. Now he's supposed to pick up the force man, and he doesn't do it. You can see he's on the ground. He does get another block, but that's why that play didn't work.
A loss of 13. Pardon me, a loss of 3 after all that razzle-dazzle. It is 2nd down and 13. Dickey and Wansley, the setbacks. Herman wants to put it up, has time. Sets up the screen nicely to Wansley. Good blocks. Wansley dives ahead to the 38-yard line. A pickup of 4 yards on the play.
Well, I told you these Colts weren't not going to quit, and I don't believe they will. You can see they're sending in some players. There's a good story on the sideline, of course, from Ohio State, Mr. Schleister, number 10. But his years are ahead of him, of course. He had an awful bout with the problem that he had, of course, with gambling. Everyone knows that story, but he is a quarterback of the future here.
Well, Cush told me the 2nd week of the year that he feels Schleister is the quarterback of this team's future for certain. There's the draw play, Wansley, and the Chargers snip it out. Lyndon King on the stop. At the 35-yard line, Allegre is coming on. I don't know how much good 3 points will do Indianapolis at this point. I do know that Cush has a fake field goal in, but I'm not sure he would utilize it here on 4th and 7.
Well, if he's going to kick this, he's going to have to kick it from probably as long a distance as he's made this year. It's going to be about a 54-yard kick, so that's going to be a fairly long kick.
Well, his longest coming into this game is from 52 yards away. It's down. Allegre sends a line drive. I'll tell you what. That ball would have cleared 60 yards.
Absolutely. You said it, a line drive. When he kicked that ball off the line, I was surprised it wasn't knocked down on line of scrimmage, but he kicks it from 54 yards, and he could have made it from 60. We'll be right back after that kick.
From 54 24 yards out. Ron Stark, the punter, set it down. And just look at this one. That ball carried all the way to the net. That thing would have gone another 7, 8, 9 yards.
There's a happy young man. I guarantee it would have gone probably from 8 to 10 yards or better. He really kicked it.
That's Dean Biasucci. Steve Bird a yard deep, pops up the ball. Buford McGee falls on it, and the Chargers will start from their own 6-yard line. San Diego out in front 24 to 10. They have the ball. We'll be back. This telecast is presented by authority of the NFL. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast of this game without the consent of the Colts is prohibited. First and 10, San Diego. Ernest Jackson turns it up. He's outside the 10, near the 11. A gain of 5 yards on the play before Barry Krause knocks him down.
Awfully big series here for the Colts. If they stop them here, they'll get the ball out at inside midfield. They come down the field. They've driven the ball well against the Chargers. They have not been stopped all that much. They've driven the ball well, but they've got to stop Mr. 14, Dan Fouts.
About 16 of 26 for 165 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Dan with time now unloads. That is Benglas, and Fouts put it right on the numbers at the 27-yard line. A first down. Preston Davis, the rookie out of Baylor, ends it.
It was well covered too. That's Mr. Fouts. Boy, that's why he passed so many times for 300 yards, because he's a pinpoint passer and he drills the ball in there. That ball never comes above 4 or 5 feet above the head. Just throws that ball and just drives it in there.
So Bendras retires to talk things over with Don Coryell. A first down at the 27-yard line. Bounce. Sets up the misdirection screen very, very well. It is Buford McGee to the 27. Preston Davis knocks him down.
That's about the hardest 1 or 2 yards you'll ever pick up. Ouch. He really got hit. How about that part of the second half of this doubleheader?
Oh, there's a couple of good ones. Miami will take on the Jets, and New England is at Denver.
And that Jet game is in New York, I believe, and that's where Miami always has trouble.
That is going to be a war up in New York. Second down and 9. It is caught. That is Jackson. He has a first down. Still on his feet out near the midfield line. Yeah, that is the thing. These Charger receivers and running backs do so well, Dave. Not only do they catch the ball, but boy, when they get it, they know where to head.
Well, watch the vision that Fouts has on this play. He's got a lot of pressure, but he never takes his eyes off his wide receivers. Now, he throws this ball. I thought it was going to 82 Duckworth, but, of course, Jackson came underneath. You can see 82 Duckworth was right in the picture, but what a spiral, what a drill. He just bullets that ball in there, and he's got him way out of trouble now with only 40 seconds left in this third quarter.
First down at the 49. That's Ernest Jackson. He carries to the 47. Cliff Odom on the tackle. And when the year began, it was Chuck Muncie and Pete Johnson. Muncie left with drug-related problems. Pete Johnson traded to the Dolphins. And suddenly, it was number 41 or nothing. And the word on Jackson, the Charger offensive coaches, Ernie Zampese, Dave Levy, love about number 41 is that they say he is a north-south runner. He gets the ball, looks for the hole, and gets to it in a hurry.
He certainly does. As we watch the time click down and watch Fouts go over to the sideline, he does just exactly that. He comes upfield, puts down his head, and he gets the 3, 4, 5 yards, the hard yards.
So that does it. The third quarter has expired. The Chargers have the football. At the end of 3, it's San Diego 24, the Colts 10. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Tonight on Night. Today's game is brought to you by Mazda and the full line of sophisticated Mazda products. By NCR, who bring you a better personal computer. And by Bud Light, the less filling light beer with the first name in taste.
61,000 on hand here at the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, Indiana, where the Colts trail the San Diego Chargers 24 to 10. And San Diego has the ball, second down and 6 at the 46. Fouts 19 of 29, a touchdown and 2 interceptions. Jackson runs headlong into Chris Scott.
Phil, this is the time when you're playing against the Chargers that they can just absolutely just make you so confused. Because when you think they're going to run, they're going to pass. When you think they're going to pass, they're going to run. It goes back and forth, and you can make so many more great plays. As we watch this quick draw by Jackson, you can make so many more plays. Your play selection can be so different because you've got that 14-point lead.
Big play, 3rd and 4. Joyner in motion. Wide open. He's got the ball and a first down at the 38. Now Joyner had the exact matchup he wanted, Dave, and that he forced Barry Krause to cover him coming out.
One thing that Fouts does so well is when he backs out, most quarterbacks take the ball and they turn and run back and set. But Fouts backpedals so fast that he sees Joyner when he makes that cut in. You can see on this play, that's number 82. That's Bobby Duckworth. Now he runs right on by. But he's got some speed. That's what opens it up when you can run those receivers deep and you can come underneath like they did there to Joyner.
Joyner 6 catches today. Bounce. That's Jackson. He has got it. Jumped up and over Eugene Daniel.
I think as long as you can catch the ball, you can become a great receiver in San Diego. They certainly do throw the ball a lot at you.
That catch a moment ago by Charlie Joyner moved him into 3rd place ahead of Raymond Berry. In terms of career receptions, Joyner now with 632.
Now, we haven't given much credit today to the offensive line of San Diego, and they've had a bad blast because they've been talked about the 26 sacks, but they've done a great job today. They've really protected Fouts well.
There's Jackson, sweep left, and George Ratajkowski knocks him out. Ratajkowski, the youngest player on this Colts team, just a tad over 22 years of age. I'll tell you, he's a guy that Doug Flutie liked an awful lot during Ratajkowski's playing days. He had 14 interceptions for Boston College, and that gave the ball to Flutie a whole bunch of times.
Well, Mr. Flutie had a tough time yesterday with Penn State, my alma mater. I just thought I'd throw that in.
Are they still playing with leather helmets at Penn State?
No, but wait a minute. Well, I played my last 2 years without a helmet, so I was used to it.
Yeah, that explains a few things. 13 minutes left in the ball game. 3rd and 3. There goes Jackson, and there goes a flag. It will probably be holding against the Chargers, but as quick as that play went, how did anybody have time to hold?
No way. That's going to be offsides. See, I know that because I played down there, and I know what that line judge. The only thing he ever does is throw that flag and say offsides.
Do you ever
Defense offside, number 99.
During your playing days, do you have hits that you remember?
Absolutely. I one time leveled Joe Namath, and I thought to myself, he had signed a big contract for $400,000, and I thought, wow, I got a chance at a $400,000 quarterback. Of course, they didn't give me anything extra to hit him, but I really got a shot on him. And the funny thing was, he just got up like nothing happened.
Was this on the field?
Yes, it was on the field.
I just wanted to clarify that.
It's the one sack I had in my career.
First down. There goes Jackson again. Same play. He moves it down closer to the 20-yard line. Vernon Maxwell. But Maxwell last week against the Cowboys in Irving had 11 tackles.
I want to tell you another play, since you asked me about my illustrious career, 13 years. Mostly my best years with the Oakland Raiders, but I was on the field when we held O.J. Simpson to 250 yards rushing. And then the second game we played in the blinding blizzard, and we held him to 212. So that's one of the highlights I had.
Well, I'll tell you, that was an airtight defense.
Oh, I'll tell you, it wasn't the defensive line's fault. We didn't do anything.
Well, that's what it sounds like. Fouts to put it up. Now breaks out of the pocket. Look at that protection. And look at Chandler. Chandler was behind Nesby Glasgow when the ball was cut loose. Glasgow started to salivate, and Chandler cut right in front of him.
That's the confidence that you have as a quarterback in your receivers. The coordination. He threw that ball to a spot where Chandler was not. Chandler turned around, came clear. The tremendous vision by Fouts on that play. He absolutely did not know where Chandler was going, but just had an instinct that he was going to turn around. Now watch, you'll see him right in the center of your screen. He'll come into your picture. You can see Nesby Glasgow right there. See him step in front of him? Oh, unbelievable coordination.
That is Chandler's 4th touchdown catch of the year. Bonerska to tack on the point after. And just like toast and eggs, routine. Clock stops with 12:12 left in this ball game. And the Chargers are beginning to stretch it out. San Diego 31. The Indianapolis Colts 10. We'll be back to the Hoosier Dome in a moment. Whether or not Dan Fouts could stand up and throw. Boy, their offense is alive and well.
Absolutely. Their offensive line has given a tremendous amount of time. Another question that we talked about was whether this Colt team could rush against the San Diego team, and they have not been able to do it today.
Bonerska lets it sail. That is Phil Smith at the 9. Phil on his feet and a super return to the 36-yard line. Vince Osby on the stop. So the Colts will have it at their own 36. Here comes Mark Herman and company. You'll see some of the nation's top bowlers at the Greater Detroit Open, including Pete Weber and defending champ Brian Voss. It all comes your way next Saturday right here on NBC. That is Randy McMillan tries to pop it inside and then pops back outside before Lucius Smith drops him at the 39-yard line. Well, Dave, if you're on the short end of the 31-10 score, if you're Mr. Cush, what are you telling your offense?
Well, I would be telling my offense, let's play control football out there. We're not going to get 21 points back immediately, but this is a game that anything can happen. I've seen it happen too many times. I was one time ahead of a team, if you can believe this, 20-0 in the 4th quarter. We had controlled the ball, and we lost 21-20, and it was less than 10 minutes to go when we were behind, when we were ahead 20-0. So anything can happen. If you throw the ball up, and you throw the ball well, you can really come back in a hurry.
Now the boos are for that man. Don't forget, stay right here on NBC. Immediately following our game here at the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, we'll take you either to Rutherford, New Jersey, where the Jets will take on the Miami Dolphins, or we'll take you to Mile High Stadium in Denver, where the Patriots are lying in wait for the Broncos.
That AFC Eastern Division is still up for grabs. There's a lot of teams in that can still really put the pressure on the Miami Dolphins.
3rd down and 6. Herman unloads. Oh, what defense there by San Diego's Johnny Ray Smith. Now, Dave, you have talked about it all day long. The fact that Herman is just floating the football to his receivers.
Yes, he does not deliver it sharp. He doesn't drill that ball in there. When he starts his motion, and look at that score there, by the way. Let's come back to that thing about Herman. But Chicago out there, 2 Walter Payton runs. They have got a lead. Look at that, Detroit.
Eagles making a game of this one.
Yes, they are. 20-20. Oh boy. Pittsburgh, 3rd quarter, 35-0.
For Warren Moon and company, win number 1 will have to wait at least until week 11.
Unless there's an unbelievable 4th quarter.
Ron Stark is on to punt it away. Steve Bird back at his own 11-yard line. Look at this punt. This is a monster. And Bird will let it go, and wisely so.
That's your basic 60-yard punt.
To go with a pair of 39-yarders for that man. So the Chargers will have the pigskin. 11 minutes, 1 second to play when we return. Well, the Breeders' Cup coming your way here on NBC. Every race worth at least $1 million, and John Henry is still questionable. 1st and 10, San Diego at the 20-yard line. 31-10 Chargers. And Fouts wants to air it out some more. There's Jackson. He cannot hold it. It was a forward pass. Incomplete forward pass. Donnell Thompson will have to give it up.
Phil, if Dan Fouts can pass for 11 more yards, he's going to pass one of the greats in this game, Y.A. Tittle. He'll move ahead of him in total yardage. He's got 235 yards. He needed 246 to pass Y.A. Tittle. So
Tittle threw for what, over 33, something like 33,000 yards in his career?
Yeah, 33,000. I think 33,070 yards.
Awesome.
And that's back when he didn't used to pass.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. 2nd and 10. There's a flag.
Oh, that's an easy one to call.
That looked like Canadian football. Everybody moving.
Well, that's Dennis McKnight. He started on one.
Start offense number 60.
Way to get your name mentioned there, Dennis. You know what they call him, the nickname he has?
Conan.
Conan. I couldn't believe that. Does he look like Conan, or is he
he sure does.
He started early like Conan.
Al, I'm quite surprised that the Chargers have been able to accomplish what they have this afternoon after the blowout they suffered at the hands of Seattle on Monday night. Absolutely.
I was just going to make a remark that, you know, if I had known that television, when you get your name mentioned that you got on, I'd have jumped off sides a lot more.
There's Egloff. That is Egloff's 5th catch today. And folks around Southern California are saying, who is this guy? Well, he's the only healthy tight end available.
Well, he's played 8 years, of course, mostly with Denver, but they picked him up, and he's come and played well for him today. He's caught everything they've thrown to him, so he's played very well. He's in his 8th year out of Wisconsin. No catches before today.
3rd down and 7. Incidentally, those 5 catches for Egloff, a career high in a single game. Fouts with time, unloads. Joyner wide open at the 43-yard line. He was hit instantly by Vaughn Williams, maintained his balance, and then ran right into Glasgow and Radachowski.
Well, move down, Mr. Y.A. Tittle, because Mr. Dan Fouts, in his quest to be number 1, has just moved ahead of you. But you said it. Joyner was wide open. Fouts had no problem finding him. He follows him all the way. You'll see how open Joyner is. Nobody within 5 yards of him.
Yeah, the thing that I am constantly surprised at is how Charlie Joyner can get so wide open, a man with his credentials. Happens game in and game out. There's Jackson, tries the right side, running in behind McKnight and Ed White. Barry Krause stops him.
Well, I'd like to tell you how Charlie Joyner gets so open. He is probably one of the most disciplined pass route runners that you can find. When he runs a route, if that route calls for him to make a cut at 13 or 14 yards, which most pass patterns are predicated upon about a 14-yard movement. They come off the line, and by the time the quarterback sets up, he's about 12 to 14 yards off the field. If it calls for 12 yards to cut, he will absolutely cut, and the ball is there. That's why he's been so open today.
Here's Jackson. Boy, he just ran right around Vernon Maxwell and into Barry Krause. You realize Charlie Joyner has caught 632 passes in his 16-year career, Dave, and over 70% of those passes have been for first downs.
Oh boy, that's a whale of a statistic. That shows, that's one very indicative thing, that it shows that when they need to get that first down, they go to him because they have a lot of confidence in his hands, a lot of confidence in his ability. And you know, by him moving 632 passes, if that isn't correct, and I don't think you've made any mistake, but he moves against ahead of a great Baltimore Colts, Raymond Berry, and I say Baltimore because that's where Raymond played.
There's Jackson, sweep right, and it will be very, very close to a first down, and I'm not sure he got it. It will depend on the spot. So it will either be 1st and 10 San Diego at the Colts 43-yard line, or a punting situation for the Chargers.
Yeah, I talked about Raymond Berry. Of course, he just took over for New England, but you had to admire Raymond Berry. Everybody said he couldn't see the ball well. He had one leg shorter than the other one. He was running pass patterns, but there's a story about Raymond Berry that's probably the most unbelievable story. He was out warming up for a game on a Saturday before the Sunday game, and if you can believe this, when he ran his pattern, he told the coach, he said, there's something wrong with his field. It's just not wide enough. and they came out, measured the field, and found out that the field was 1 yard too narrow. And that is a true story. I'm pretty sure of that story. But he was so precise on how many steps it took once he made that break. It's probably one of the great stories to tell you how disciplined this game is. This is not just a game of people out there with great athletic ability. It's a coordination, quarterback, wide receivers, and linemen.
Well, it was because of the fact that the field was too narrow that the Colts left Baltimore and came to Indianapolis.
Well, that is that's a tough statement. I hated to see the Colts leave Baltimore. I really did, because they had some great fans there.
Chargers going for it on 4th down and a foot. That's Buford McGee. And he is short. The Chargers will lose yardage, and the Colts will take over. Preston Davis, a rookie corner out of Baylor, is the guy who upended McGee's apple cart.
Well, I told you these Colts do not quit, and they do not quit. On that down, they're down by 21 points. It's very easy to just get disgusted, but watch the flow here. He has nowhere to go. He tries to turn it up, and look at that play by Preston Davis. There's just nowhere. Look at the hustle there. Those guys aren't playing like they're 21 points down, because, again, they realize that their future, they've only got an average. The oldest player is 6 years here, and they just realize that their future's ahead of them. I hear a little bit of booing there because Mr. Herman came back in. They may want to see Mr. Pagel.
Or Arch Leister.
That'd be an interesting thing. I'd like to see him bring him in. Why not? He's from Ohio State, and he certainly had success there, and give him some game time experience.
Pagel. The release is out to Dickey. The screen set up nicely. Fumble. The Chargers have recovered.
Well, just when you think the Colts are going to get back into it, the worst place that you can hit a receiver or a ball carrier is from the back, when you reach around, because he is prepared for what's coming from the front of him. But watch this play. As we watch Dickey, you'll see him get hit in the back. He's not prepared. He's looking forward. He doesn't see it, and the ball is back in the Chargers' hands. And there's a disappointed Mark Herman. We got to watch the hustle of number 76 in this play, Keith Ferguson. He's 260 pounds, and he plays his screen well. Now, he's out of the picture, but he doesn't quit. He comes all the way from back on his defensive line position. If he doesn't stop Dickey there, he may pick up all the way down to the 15, 20-yard line. Look at there.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he can play quarterback, you better get warmed up.
Oh, he's got the hands of a quarterback, definitely. Oops.
That's Buford McGee. He moves it out to the 48. Cliff Odom on the tackle.
What do they call that thing? What is that?
That's called a Huggles, I believe, is what they're calling it. Now the Giants out in front of Dallas. I'll tell you, that is a real Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde ball club.
Well, you know, Danny White got hurt in that game early.
Detroit, Philadelphia, deadlocked in 20s. Here's an interesting score. Malone has thrown for 3. Pittsburgh over the Oilers 35-7.
Well, the interesting thing in that last game was that Oliver Luck passed that ball, so he must be in place of Warren Moon.
And Minnesota out in front of Tampa Bay. Here comes McGee. He'll try the sweep left. The Chargers at this point would simply like to keep the clock running. Winding down, we are now at 6.
Luck passed that ball, so he must be in place of Warren Moon.
And Minnesota out in front of Tampa Bay. Here comes McGee. He'll try the sweep left. The Chargers at this point would simply like to keep the clock running. Winding down, we are now at 6 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the ball game. Now next week, San Diego goes home to take on the Denver Broncos. What a game that ought to be if San Diego can stay healthy.
Absolutely.
And then they will entertain the Miami Dolphins at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium. Next week, the Colts will head for New York to take on the Jets. There's the quick hitter to Joyner. It is Charlie's 7th catch of the day. Eugene Daniel on the tackle.
I wonder if Dan Fouts knew. That's his 8th catch of the day, I think. But I wonder if Dan Fouts knew that Charlie Joyner was close to that record, because he has thrown to him a ton of times today. Charlie, you're supposed to be in your 16th year, and Dan, look over there. Charlie's over there, but he's supposed to be in his 16th year. He's not supposed to catch like that. You know, I want to say something about Fouts, too. He is probably the biggest card you ever saw in your life. He is a great practical joker. I one time saw him do his Johnny Unitas invitation, and it is the funniest thing I've seen in a long while.
First down from the 41. Dan. He is hammered by Vernon Maxwell, but McGee catches the ball and dives near the first down. The flag is down on the far side of the field, near where Charlie Joyner was running around.
You know what's so unbelievable about that play, Phil, is the way Fouts looked downfield. Now, you said it. He took a shot. And we're going to hear what the call is, but he looked downfield. He looked off that screen, took a shot, and it's going to be motion on San Diego. But it was unbelievable, the shot he took. I wish we could take a peek at that again. He took a shot, but he looked all the way downfield to the last possible second before he dropped the ball off to the back. That's what makes him so great.
Illegal formation on the offense. 5-yard penalty.
Watch this play here. Now he knows he's going to get hit. You'll see the defensive lineman coming in. Right there's Max. Now look how late he is, and he takes a shot. That's what makes that play work, because he looks downfield. He's not looking at that screen play. That's the criticism that I had with Herman. He looks where he's going to throw the ball too quickly.
Joyner needs only 15 more receptions, Dave, to become the all-time reception leader in the National Football League, and he could easily accomplish that at home against the Miami Dolphins 2 weeks from today. Buford McGee, look at the hole. Cuts it to the outside. Preston Davis on the stop. Big yardage for San Diego to the Colts' 16-yard line. A 30-yard gain for a man who coming in with a severe ankle injury.
If you ever wanted to see him move, you see the move he put on George Radachowski. He just faked him completely out as he was out there running. He ran that ball very, very well. And he's supposed to be one of these guys that's just back there to play in case somebody else gets hurt. He didn't look like it on that play.
Frank Cush, I suppose dejection would be one word we could use. First down now from the 16. 31-10 San Diego. That is Jarrell Thomas. Leo Wisniewski was there, as was Cliff Odom.
I'd say this, but the Chargers are over there asking if anybody who wants to carry the ball right now, because they're bringing in the whole schoolyard. There's a lot of players that don't get a lot of playing time, like Jarrell Thomas on that play, and of course the one before with Buford McGee. But those players are getting a lot of experience now. You did say that Cush is really upset, but the thing that he has to be proud of is that he's absolutely outmanned in this game. But his Colts are not quitting. They're still playing hard football. Their defense especially is playing tough football.
That's with all the time in the world. There's Joyner. Make that catch number 9 today. Barry Krause on the tackle.
Charlie says, you ain't going to get me down. Heck, I'm just going to catch that ball. Boy, he's having a day. It's about time that the Colts decide to cover him, don't you think?
Now, don't forget, in just 3 minutes and 7 seconds, we will be taking you to Game 2 of our doubleheader here on NBC Sports. A couple of outstanding ball games. Miami and the Jets. New England at Mile High Stadium to take on the Broncos. Fouts today, 26 of 37, 280 yards. 9 of his pitches have gone to Joyner.
Let's go back to Buford McGee. They're just going to pound it on him now because they just picked up a first down. And this is where you want to come down and drive the ball. You've got to be able to come down and drive the ball. It's one thing that San Diego did in the first quarter. They made almost a critical mistake when it's on that 4th down and 1 yard line. On the 1 yard line, they tried to go wide. They have got to be able to pound that ball in there. But the thing that's interesting about Fouts in this position is that he hasn't stopped passing. You know, you got to dance with the girl you take, and that's what got him there. So he's still throwing the ball.
Well, that is the personality of this football team, and for People who have watched the Chargers over the years, I'll tell you, you could get the Chargers down to 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, and Dan's throwing for the goalpost.
Well, as you watch him come in the huddle there, you know, one of the probably the comment that he would make is, well, you know, we didn't give up because I didn't see any white flags over there. Those guys weren't quitting, so I'm not quitting. Let's just play it just like it's the first quarter.
It is first down and goal for San Diego from the Indianapolis 6. McGee inside the 3, and he is slammed by Vaughn Williams.
Wow, slammed is a good word. When he cut back, he absolutely met Vaughn Williams coming as hard as you can come. You'll see it to the left of your screen. Watch how quick he stops. Boom. There's no quitting those guys.
We have reached the 2-minute warning, and while the teams take a break, we'll take a timeout. And now let's take you on a course for another one of our fantastic finishes here on NBC.
Alcoa presents Fantastic Finishes, 1983. Baltimore's Raul Alegre is jubilant over his game-tying field goal against the Patriots. Moments later in overtime, Steve Grogan pitches out to Tony Collins, who is hit and stripped of the football by Vernon Maxwell. Baltimore's Johnny Good gobbles up the bouncing ball on the dead run and lumbers 52 yards to victory. Frank Bush's prayers have been answered.
Jeffrey, helping Mother today was a good idea.
Welcome back. 2 minutes left in this ball game. The Chargers out in front of the Indianapolis Colts 31-10. And Dave, if you're Dan Fouts, Ernie Zampese, Dave Levy, what's the call?
The call is going to be a running play over Ed White, number 67. That's my call.
All right. I will take Charlie Joyner.
Oh, you're going back to Charlie. Yeah. Well, you can't be wrong.
He's not in there. He's not in the ball game. Double tight end formation. You're right. It's going to be a run. Forget about that. Fouts for McGee. Touchdown, San Diego.
Well, like I said, you got to dance with the girl you take unless she's ugly. And right now, Dan Fouts thinks that Buford McGee is awful pretty because he just laid a pass out there. They went to 2 tight end, and that's the thing that really kills you. Of course, everybody was thinking run. I was thinking run, and what does he do? Come up with that pass. When you can keep the defensive team off stride, you can win, and that's what Fouts has done so well. It doesn't look like a team that's lost 3 games, and out of their last 3 games they've lost. How's that little spin there at the end? He just kind of give it a little shuffle.
Well, that is the 3rd touchdown pass for Dan Fouts. Wes Chandler caught one. Charlie Joyner caught one. And now here it goes to number 21, Buford McGee. Well, what a day it has been for Dan Fouts. And as we talked at the outset of our telecast, he was coming off a game Monday night he'd just as soon like to forget about.
Absolutely. He certainly doesn't look like the same quarterback. He has had an unbelievable day. 283 yards, 28 of 39.
Oh, my goodness.
It's about time to let the fat lady sing, isn't it? Watch this. He stumbles back out of there, lays it up, and everybody's thinking run, like I said, and you can see how wide open Buford McGee is. Everybody in this whole entire stadium thought run, including me, and I'm supposed to be the expert.
Yeah, the clock stops with 1:56 to play. We want to certainly salute our spotters today here in Indianapolis. Paul Farimsky, Joe DiPietro, our stats man who has helped us throughout our telecast, Bob Burnett. Our producer, Les Dennis, producing his first game. Our director, Lenny Stucker. Gentlemen, we thank you. An exceptional game.
I'm going to tell you, the second game that these people are going to, our fans here of NBC are going to watch is going to be an outstanding one. The New York Jets are probably one of the most unpredictable teams. Of course, everybody knows the success that Miami has had, but the New York Jets can play with anybody when they hit on all 8 cylinders. And if they get right, they can flat out play with anybody.
Bill Smith, his second decent return in the ball game, moves the ball out to the 26-yard line, a 16-yard return. And he is knocked down.
Well, speaking of second games, how about that Denver-New England game? New England under Raymond Berry won last week, and he said the big thing he tried to do last week was just learn the players' names. But they came back and they really played loose. They played very, very consistent football, and they could give Denver a lot of spoils. But, of course, Denver always seems to find a way to win. That game last week when they played the Raiders, I could not believe, Phil, they were behind. Nobody thought they were going to win. They came up and just put them apart.
Herman is back on. Picked up in the air by Lyndon King. The pass intended for Matt Booza. Herman being treated rather rudely by the Charger defensive line and all afternoon long by the Indianapolis fans.
Absolutely, and Lyndon King probably is just about ready to put his hands up to his helmet. All defensive linemen and linebackers do that. They hit themselves and put their hands up on their head whenever they make a mistake, but he should have intercepted the ball. It had enough time. The ball floated out to him, and he really should have intercepted the ball.
Well, it doesn't get any easier for Frank Cush and company. Next week, it is the New York Jets. Flag is down. Herman lets it fly. It is caught by Randy McMillan. Moves it out to the 33-yard line. And I doubt if there are 5,000 people left here in the Hoosier Dome.
Well, they're not. They're getting home so they can see the second half of this game that we're going to have, the Miami Dolphins. They're going to watch Miami, or else they're going to watch Denver, New England. But it's going to be offsides
Defense
against
73 is offside. Your 5-yard penalty and still second down.
Now Keith Guthrie, the rookie out of Texas A&M, number 6th round draft choice.
Did you hear how Ben Dreith talked that time? When I used to play out there, and of course he's been a referee for years and years, you no one ever questioned him. I couldn't believe it. We'd be out there in a game and he'd just tell you what's happening, and you just believed it. You know how you always see players up there questioning referees? Has tremendous control of the game. He is one of the great referees in this game and doesn't probably get all the credit he deserves.
From the 31-yard line, it is second down and 5. Herman once more. Wide open. That is Dickey. Moves it to the 41. Hit first by Andre Young. Finished off by Keith Ferguson.
Right now the Chargers, excuse me, Phil, but right now the Chargers are going to give the Colts that little short pass, that 8- and 10-yard pass. They're playing for the bomb. They don't want to have anything thrown deep on them. So they're going to give them that little dink out here and 8, 10, 12, 15-yard pickup.
Now that's McMillan, and he is made to pay. Lyndon King grabbed him low. Bill Elko grabbed him high.
Wait till you hear what this flag is. This is going to be an interesting flag because I believe it was thrown on number 73, Steve Wright. I don't know why, but Ben is over there just pointing the finger.
The offense grabbed the face mask, and then 76 from the defense roughed the quarterback, so we're going to play it over.
You think that man doesn't have control of the game?
Yeah, and then I'll tell you what else happened. There was a man selling popcorn up in section 137 who accosted a woman leaving the stadium. So we've got 3 fouls here.
He said, well, I hadn't gotten real close to the quarterback today, and I just thought I bumped into him.
So they'll play the down over. 1st and 10, Indianapolis. As you have said all day long, Dave, these Colts don't give up. They still have their first team in there all the way. Ray Butler, Tracy Porter, the wideouts. Herman pressured, wrapped up, and dropped there by Chuck Ian.
Well, Ron Salt just made the biggest mistake he made of the game because he came off number 78, Chuck Ian. He came off Ian, and when he did, it just broke Ian clear, and that's the 2nd sack of the day. 19 yards they've had sacks. Boy, that's a thrill for a lineman to get that sack. You'll see how he comes off, and there's Ian free. Salt just was going to pick up somebody else. They had a little stunt in the middle, and boy, he just walks away nonchalantly. Look, I made the sack.
That's the 2nd sack by the Charger defensive unit today. Their 23rd of the year. And interesting thing, the Colts immediately called a timeout.
Well, that is interesting because it's second down and about a quarter of a mile. Of course, a local resident here. I was out had some snack yesterday with a good buddy of mine, Paul Page, who lives in Indianapolis, and he told me this dome is a little bit small. It should be big enough to put a 2.5-mile circle in so they could race inside of it. Of course, you know where his heart is, out in the racetrack.
And I'll tell you, Paul Page, the voice of the Indianapolis 500, also one of our comrades with NBC Sports, joining us in the broadcast booth for the telecast today. Paul, we certainly enjoyed having you with us. I understood he took you out to Indianapolis yesterday and told you everything you've ever wanted to know about auto racing.
The guy is a walking encyclopedia. Standing right to my right here, he's a walking encyclopedia out there. I asked him, I said, what's the fewest cars that ever finished? 6, 1964. What's the most cars that ever finished? 27 in 19 so-and-so. Guy is unbelievable.
He doesn't really know all that. He just knew that you didn't know.
Oh, well, then I couldn't tell if he was telling me the truth.
Second down and 21 for the Colts. Herman lets lets it fly. Porter has it at the 36, and he is dropped there by number 22, Gil Bird.
Watch Mr. Herman play this one without a shoe. He only has one shoe on, so he can't get a timeout. Well, he's going to try to call timeout so he can put his shoe back
Get
on.
an equipment timeout here.
Well, I don't know if they give you an equipment timeout for that. I think he has to call yes, he has to call an actual timeout. He's so fast, he ran right out of his shoe. Well, what a career he had here in Indianapolis, Mark Herman. Great basketball player. Said one of his real loves was basketball.
He's had a tough time as a pro, Dave. His last year, he went out with a collarbone. This year, he had a thumb injury. Pagel has a thumb injury now. Really the only guy who has escaped any kind of misfortune is the man leaning over there, number 10, Art Schleister.
Well, and also that guy in the blue coat in the middle, that's the coach. He hasn't had too many injuries.
Now, nothing physical, but you look up on that scoreboard, I can tell you he's hurt.
Yes, he is, because he has high expectations for this team. He realizes they've had so many injuries. Early in the season, they lost Wade Griffin, who was going to make a comeback, and that really hurt him. And I think they had several other. Chris Hinton was injured. Balderschweier had a neck injury, and he didn't pass. So they lost so many offensive linemen, and it really hurt.
And this guy on the other side of the ledger has lost so many defensive backs. I'll tell you, I think the Chargers were just holding trials for anybody who came out of the shopping malls.
Well, they certainly were. Now, there's a team right there, the Miami Dolphins. I did a game with them a couple weeks ago. Dan Marino has got to be one of the greatest quarterbacks to play this game. This year, I'll tell you, they're forgetting about Bob Greasy in Miami.
Here's Randy McMillan. He has the ball. Keith Ferguson and Chuck Ian, the defensive ends, pinch him, and I mean pinch him.
Well, all 650 people are booing right now, too, that are here in the stadium.
Now, the Chargers have come back. They will not suffer their 4th consecutive loss. Herman lets it fly. That is Booza. He's got the football. Lyndon King stops him at the 41-yard line, and we are inside 8 seconds. Clock stops while they move the chain, a gain of 27 yards.
Well, Dan, you had a great day today. Yeah, I know it, Dave. Thanks. What are you doing waving at me, Dan? You're not supposed to do that. Look at that grin on him.
Well, he's had an outstanding day. Herman, on the other hand, 18 of 31, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Now, Fouts has every reason to smile. He has gotten the job done without 3 of the most potent weapons in the entire National Football League. I'm talking about probably, Dave, the single most lethal weapon in Kellen Winslow, out for the year with very, very serious knee injury. Pete Holohan, a man who the Chargers feel have the best hands on San Diego's ball club. And, of course, Eric Seaver, arthroscopic knee surgery earlier this week. He should return in a few weeks.
Well, I'd like to say a special get well to Kellen Winslow. I really hope he comes back from that injury. I know how severe it was. I think everybody has read about it. But he is really one of the great receivers. I didn't enjoy him half as much until I retired. And now I really enjoy him.
Herman to put it up. He'll go for all the marbles. Bosa, Porter, Lyndon King, and look out.
Oh, a little razzle-dazzle there.
King lets it fly to John Turner, and the ball game is over. What a finish. The Chargers